Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. This is what we call Black Friday. This is Black Friday. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about business in all different areas. And you can, if you have any questions or concerns or criticism or whatever, you could definitely give us a call. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We love to hear from you. We love to hear how you feel about business. If you have a business that you want to talk about, that you want to lift up, you can definitely give us a call and we'll talk about your business and talk about it in its entirety. And the most beautiful thing about it, we will talk about your business and talk about it in its entirety. And you know what? It's not going to cost you a green penny. Not going to cost you a green penny. Now, if you ever seen a green penny, you know how much that's worth. You can't spend a green penny. So that's what it is right now. We're going to talk about your business, give you an opportunity to uplift your business and anything concerning your business, it free of charge. We're going to give you this opportunity to do so. And you're going to speak to 58 countries. You're going to speak to 58 countries. 58 countries strong is what you're going to talk to. And it's not going to cost you a dime. Not going to cost you a dime. So jump on board. Give us a call. 678-381-1973. If you have a question that maybe one of us can't answer, and we have a lot of people. I'm solo right now, but we have a lot of people that's going to join us as well. But if you have any questions that for whatever reason we cannot answer, we will reach out and get the answer for you and allow you to move forward, hopefully, and become the entrepreneur that that you are. So give us a call, 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Give us a call. We love to talk to you. We love to hear from you. We just want to be a part of your success. We want to be a part of your success. So make sure you log in, make sure you join us, make sure you be a part of this discussion today. Again, the number is 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. Now, one of the things that a lot of people have concerns about, they say they want to start a business, but they're always talking about the money. They're always talking about the money. I can't start no business. I don't have the money to start a business. I don't have the income. I don't have the revenue to go out there and start a business. Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes is and I got a video that I'm going to play for you. I'm gonna play it for you in just a few minutes. But sometimes it's not always about the money. Sometimes it's not all about the money. Sometimes you just got to go out there and know that you have the expertise, know that you have the know-how, and the know-it-all. Let me say it like that. Know that you have the know-it-all to go out there and start this business and start it. Let it go. Don't worry about all the other things. Don't worry about what people talking about. Well, I don't have the money for this, or I don't have that. That's not your concern. Your concern should be starting your business, making sure that your business is successful. You're giving it the time and the effort that it needs to be successful, and put your best foot forward. Put your best foot forward, man. Am I going to sit here and tell you that because you start a business is going to be very successful and you're going to make money hand over fist? No, I'm not going to tell you that because I'll be giving you a false narrative. Because there is a lot of work that goes into when you become when you become the boss. When you become the boss, when you are the boss, there's a lot of work that goes into that. There's a lot of responsibility that goes into that. And so if you're not willing to put the work in, and my thing, and I tell people this all the time. I tell people this all the time. If you go to work and you work for somebody for 5, 10, 15, 20 years or whatever the case, you go and you work for somebody for that amount of time and you put the work in for their company that amount of time. Why can't you put that same amount of work into your own company? Why can't you put that work into your own company? It's your company. It's going to succeed or fail, but it's going to succeed or fail based on you and the effort that you put in there, the amount of time you put in there, the amount of work that you put in there is based on you. At the end of the day, everything is your call. You have to make the call, whether it's successful, whether it's not. You have to make that call. You have to be the one that is willing to make all the sacrifices. If it's going to win, if it's going to be successful, trust and believe when I tell you it's going to be successful based on you and what you do, how you work it, and how you keep this thing keep it going. Everything around you. Sometimes like this morning, I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. But that does not mean that the show can't go on. The show have to continue. We have a show called The Morning Glow that goes Monday through Friday. And sometimes, you have to pour it, some you have to go on the pavement and you have to be willing to do whatever you have to do and do it on your own. It's based on you. And so I'm the only one that's here this morning. But does that mean that that I have to? Okay, I'm the only one here, so I got to cancel the show. No, there's no way I can. There's no way I can say that we're going to be successful. We're going to do the things that we're supposed to do, and because of the fact that you're the only one that's there, you might have an event. You may have an event, and Lord knows I've done this as well. You may have an event, and no one show up, and no one shows up. And you put all this time and effort into making supposedly making it successful, and you look at things moving up to that particular date, and no one comes. I've had an event where I've sold out, man. I had people waiting. I had events where I've had people waiting, and they couldn't get in the door. They couldn't get in the door. But then again, I've also had events where it's me and the people that's helping, that's working with me. We're the only ones there. We are the only ones there, and we go on with the event like normal. I had one event, and we had what we may have had 4 people come. I've had an event, booked the venue, did all the stuff, did all the work that needs to go into play. And what happened with that event, it wasn't that it wasn't planned right. I think it was planned right, but one of the things that one of the mistakes that I had early on, I didn't look at the calendar. I didn't look at the calendar. I didn't prepare properly, and it was during the football season, college football season. The event was on a Saturday, and there was a college football game. USC, USC. Now, as big as that is, there was a college football game that same day, and the game pretty much started about an hour before my event started. And so, what do you think everybody was at? What do you think everybody was doing? They was either at the game or watching the game. A USC event, home game, right there in the same city. Needless to say, that was not a great event. It didn't work out right. It didn't work out in my favor. You live and you learn. So the next time, anytime during football season, or you look at your calendar and you base your events around what is going on around you. Now, once you get to the point where you're very popular, you have a huge following, you might be able to not deal with that as much. You might be able to not deal with that as much because what you can do now, you have a following. Now you have people that that's going to come and support you. But early on, I didn't have that. Early on, I didn't have that at all. At all. And so I had to count on the fact that the event was going to be the pool. The advertising that I did was going to be the pool. And for whatever for well, I know what the reason was. I know what the reason was. It didn't happen because of the fact that I didn't at that time I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. And I planned this event. And like I said, I was in USC. When I say USC, I'm talking about South Carolina, USC, South Carolina Gamecocks. And in South Carolina, that on a home game, that's huge, man. That's huge for the city. Man, look here. I'm gonna tell you something. It's so huge for the city. Carl, I'm coming to you in just 1 second. Hold on. It's so huge for the city. A USC game in South Carolina. There was a time when I was in South Carolina where USC, the college football team, had lost 11 games in a row. 11 games in a row. It went from one season to the next season. They started losing the first season, lost all the remaining games in that season. The next season came on, and they lost, I think, about five of their first games of that season. They went 0-5 that year. They was 0-5. Up to that point, they were 0-5. And every game, it was sold out. It was sold out. And one of the news, I was looking at the news one day, is what's that? I think it was Channel 5. I think it was in Columbia. I think it was. Can't remember. But the news was there at the end of the game. They had lost again. And they was asking people, why do you keep coming to the game? And everybody pretty much said the same thing. Everybody pretty much said the same. They say, listen, yeah, they're losing right now, but I want to be here when they win. I want to be here at the game when they win. Good morning, Christy. How you doing?
Good morning.
I want to be here at the game when they win. And so that's what I was up against. And like I said, I did the event. I didn't do my due diligence at that particular time. And I booked this event. doing a USC. Now that lets you know how much love they have for USC, for them Gamecocks. I booked the event during that particular time, and the game started an hour before my event. And like I said, I may have had 4 people at that event. 4 people. But does that mean you stop? No, no, because like I said before, I've also had events where, man, I couldn't let nobody else come in the door. We had to stop it. We had to stop it, and people was waiting to get in, but they couldn't because we was at capacity. And if the fire marshal would have come at that time, would let all them people in, that would have been a fine that we had to deal with. And so I didn't want to deal with it. So I said, look, stop the door. Stop the door. Don't let nobody else in. Don't let nobody else in. If somebody go out, you ask them, are they coming back? If they say they're not coming back, then you let somebody else in. But we can't let nobody else in here. Can't nobody else come in. And so those are the things that when you're dealing with business, and everybody know this is Black Friday, so we're talking about that. When you're dealing with business, these are some of the things that you have to prepare for the good days as well as the not so good days. An event where I booked a venue, I had all this stuff, lined up, and four people came. It was so bad, man. It was so bad. The 4 people that came, they had a good time. Now we put on the things like we had a room full of people, like it was sold out. They had a good time, but at the end of the night, we gave them their money back. Thank you for coming. We gave them the money back. I hope you had a good time, and we gave them money back. 2 of them said, "Nah, man, no, keep that." And 2 of them said the other 2 took their money back. We didn't have no problem with it. They wanted, they didn't want their money back, but we gave them the money back because of the fact that I didn't produce for them what I said I was going to produce. I didn't have the amount of people there that I wanted to have there. And though they had a good time, they enjoyed themselves. The 4 people, man, just like a little smaller, mini little house party. They had a good time. But we offered to give them their money back. Good morning, Christy. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Rodney.
Hey. Say good morning to Donald Toussaint.
Good morning, Toussaint. Got to put emphasis on the Toussaint.
Dynamic too.
Hey. Look at to your destiny. Come on now.
All right, the middle ground, the middle ground.
Oh, you better say it, girl. You better say it. There you go. We're talking about Black Friday. I was telling the story about when you're doing different things and you have different businesses. Sometimes people gonna come out, sometimes they're not. But you cannot waver from what you're going to do or what you're trying to do. You have to keep it going on. You have to keep it moving. And I said, at that time, I said I'm the only one here. I said I think other people are going to come, but right now, we're supposed to get started at 7 o'clock, so we have to get started at 7 o'clock and let the people come when they come. And so even if Chrissy, you're doing an event and nobody come, it don't mean it's a failure. It could be a learning experience. Like when I did that and it was an old school event. What it was, we had 4 people to come. 4 people showed up. 4. But it was planned wrong because it was planned during a time where USC, the football team, had a home football game that same day. The game started an hour before my event. So either the people were at the game or they was at home watching the game because that was huge in South Carolina. So, Krista, what do you say to that?
I just think that's an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I've always, whenever I do an event, if something else is happening, I either try to, if I can revamp and include myself in that event that's already going on. Like for instance, we had to do a bake sale for our church
Mm-hmm.
to raise some money, but it was another event going on at the same time. Like I think it was like I forgot what it was. It was something. So somebody else was selling dinners to benefit something else. So people wasn't coming to get our stuff because they was going over there. So what I did, I went over there and bought a plate from them
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, this is to support your cause, and we're over here selling this thing. So make sure we'll tell our customer, you tell your customer, let's coexist. And it worked out well, because we started selling. I think we made more money than we normally would have made just
Mm-hmm.
by walking over there and revamping. Um,
Exactly.
you know, I think that you have to be versatile in those type of situations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because people are fickle and people have different things and different situations. But you have to, like I say, revamp, revitalize, look at what's going on that day or in that situation, if it's an event, or even if it's your business. Let's say you open and COVID hit. You have to learn how to rearrange, reinvent. That's why I love all the new things that are coming out that's utilizing the internet, that's utilizing video, that's utilizing chats, that's utilizing so many different things and different ways to um, get back to the new norm, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that if you're not if your business is not able to revamp or is not able to change with the times or change with the different things, then you're going to be stuck and you're going to be unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you're looking for people to always support, then you shouldn't go into your own business because people are not going to always be there. You
Exactly.
have to be the driving force behind what you
Mm-hmm.
have. Just like
Come on.
whenever you start something new, just like with the middle ground, it's new, it's ground,
Mm-hmm.
it's in the ground roots. So
Mm-hmm.
just because it's not a whole bunch of people watching right now, doesn't mean that it's not going to be. That means I have to do the grassroots. I have to do the work. I have to revamp. I have to go out. You have to do just like TMG can be the Morning Glow. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to you can't do the comparison. And so
Mm-hmm.
many times people like to compare their business to something else and deem it's not successful because it doesn't have the same results. And that might not be necessarily true.
Absolutely, absolutely. Donald Tucson, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Donald Tucson, are you there?
I was talking to my mute, but
Good then. Now, what do you say to that, man? Like I said, I did this event, Donald, and it was a good event. It was put together well, but because I didn't at that, and this was early, we had a promotional company, me and my wife and I, in Columbia, South Carolina, and it was in the beginning stages. So I didn't do all the homework. I didn't do all the due diligence that I need to do to look at the calendar and see what I was up against. What's my competition on this particular day? We picked the day and we went for it. Didn't turn out the way we wanted to. Like I said, we had 4 people to come. 4 people. My wife would tell you the story today. She laughed at me today. But you learn from that. And because we didn't get the turnout that we wanted, does that mean that we should stop and give up, throwing the towel? Or should we just go back to the drawing board and eat the meat and spit out the bone? What do you say?
that's what you do. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you know what? How you gonna succeed if you don't try?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you try, you're gonna fail.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. It depends on how you define the word failure,
Mm-hmm.
because it just don't. Things seldom go according to plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when it falls apart, you don't look at what's wrong. You look at that to how can I make it right
Come on.
if I can.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. There is a solution.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to work it out. So that's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Everything is a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
You utilize that moment to kind of critique things, take a back seat and look at it, back up, look at it from a different perspective, and say, okay, maybe I didn't do this, didn't talk to this person, this, that,
Mm-hmm.
but utilize that time that you already allowed.
Yeah.
You already had. You don't have nothing else to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so you might as well use it to critique where you are.
Exactly.
Sometimes we close the door on ourselves too quick,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and a lot of people are sitting looking at their potential
Mm-hmm.
from the sideline when they just had to hang in it. Somebody tried to get in my door. A lot.
Okay. I and Dawn, it's good that you say that, because that goes along with one of the things that I tell people all the time. I have two experiences in my life. I have wins, I have victories, and I have learning experiences. I never tell anybody that I have a failure, because with the team that I'm on, I can't fail. I can't fail. I can have victories, and Christy, I can have learning experiences, and from those learning experiences, I gotta go in. I gotta look at navigate, like Donald said, look at navigate it, look at what I did right, what I did wrong. How can I tweak this? How can I get a little better in line with this right here? And what is off course? What don't need to be a part of this equation? And so I have victories and I have learning experiences. And honestly speaking, I've grown more for my learning experiences than I have for my victories. Christy, what do you say to that? You muted.
I'm sorry. I don't even have a problem with calling them failures.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's in your failures that you I don't it's in your failures where you learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's a motivation say fail often and fail quickly, because in your failures is where you learn how to be successful. If
Mm-hmm.
you haven't failed, then you don't know how to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Every business, I don't care what business you think of, had a moment of failure.
Mm-hmm.
And we fear failure. We fear failure because that's what we were taught. If you fail F, you are a bad person. You haven't tried, or you're lazy. We put a stigmatism on the word failure. But
Mm-hmm.
actually, failure is a good thing, because if I wouldn't have failed, or if something didn't go right, then I wouldn't have learned how to make it right.
Come
You
on.
know, um, it, you know, Popeyes failed numerous times before it became successful. They
Mm-hmm.
learned what recipe worked, what the people didn't like, and especially if you have a business that's surrounded by people. People are fickle.
Yeah.
1 minute they like this, 1 minute they like that. The fashion and styles and different things are always changing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to be diverse, and a lot of people are scared of that diverse word, but you do have to be diverse. You have to be different. You have to be exciting. You have to have something that's going to appeal to the human senses.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are the key things that you have to do in order to maintain any company, regardless of what's going on. People are going to choose the better product, the better event, or they're going to choose that for
Mm-hmm.
themselves. You just have to continue to stand your ground, continue to do what you know to do, learn from the things that didn't work. Don't
Mm-hmm.
give up, don't give in, stay in there for the fight. You are more
Preach, preach,
stronger.
preach, preacher.
You strong, and it's not that
Wow.
and that's not only with businesses, that's
Mm-hmm.
also in your life. And the reason why I'm talking, because I had a lady on Facebook I was reading, and she said, I'm about to give up on myself.
Mm.
And it was late. Like, I'm normally not up because I love my sleep, y'all. But um, some just made me stroll, and that's where I went to. And I had to type in there and say, sister, no, never give up on yourself. You keep
Mm-hmm.
your head held high, tilt, fix your crown, hold your head up high, and
Come
you
on.
keep on going through the mud, through the snow, through the hail, through whatever you're going through. You keep on going, because in a minute it's going to get better. And when it gets better, then you're going to be glad that you didn't give up, because you're like, you know what? I didn't know this was on the other side. And when you
Mm-hmm.
make it on the other side and you look back, you're going to be like, man, I went through that. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be better for it. So, I'm just, no matter what you have to go through in business or in life, you don't give up. You don't stop. You keep going, because if you
Mm-hmm.
stop, you defeat it. If you stop, you done got defeated, and you're gonna hate yourself, because you're gonna hate where you are, because you could have been so much further. So never give up. Keep your head up. Do what you gotta do. Revamp. Do whatever, but don't give up.
Donna Toussaint. She said a mouthful that time, brother. She said a mouthful. What's on your heart?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I heard you say something. If you got something going on, if nobody else be on time or before time,
Mm-hmm.
you get there on time.
Yes, sir.
We have a problem, some of us gonna be at our funeral late
Mm-hmm.
because we're so
Mm-hmm.
used to it.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be
Exactly.
waiting for the body.
Exactly. Exactly. And unfortunately, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Because being
you'll
on
never be on time.
mm-hmm for nothing.
And then you can't wait on nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like Drumline says,
No,
if you on time, you're late.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's powerful. That's
exactly.
powerful. Mm-hmm.
And then if you're late, you just early for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know. But we a lot of times we depend on unreliable people
Uh-oh. You about to go somewhere.
to help us
Mm-hmm.
in what we're trying to do. And if you depend on somebody else that you already know that they're unreliable, you looking for a time where you can learn about failure
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna help you fail.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
We,
sir.
we, we gotta watch our circle.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta watch the people around us and watch how they function.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're shabby, it's gonna reflect on you because you brought them in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too bright, but I'm not stupid.
There you go. There you go. Come on. And see, and that's
And you know, you
go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
no, you just got to be careful. You know, don't to be too quick to throw your hands up because that happened either.
Mm-hmm.
That's a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna help you if you just watch.
Exactly. Exactly. That's good. That's good. Christy, what's on your heart, man? Because and people do a lot of times they throw in the hand, man. They it don't go the way they want it. And in that event, it costs us money. It costs us money to do the event, advertise, all the stuff that we had to do, put into that thing. It costs us money. And to have only 4 people to come out, we lost money. And then we gave 2 of them their money back. Not because they asked for it, because we just felt it was the right thing to do, because it wasn't, the amount of people that we wanted there were not there. And so that could have made us feel as though we man, we ain't gonna do this no more. We look at the numbers and, man, we ain't gonna do this no more. And then we could have given up. But then the next couple of events that we did, they were very successful. We had people, man, all over the place, man. We did a little contest. The contest was sold out. We had people all over the place buying all the stuff that we had there, the food. Man, they were very successful. But had we given up after that one, we wouldn't be where we are. What do you
You
say to
know
that?
what? I probably would have went to that football game and gave out flyers and say, "Won't y'all come after the game or during
Mhm,
halftime and get a plate?" You know,
mhm, mhm.
I would
Yeah.
have revamped that in somehow, some form. Hey,
Mhm.
it's an after party for the game. We know we gonna lose, but guess what? We finna party like we won. Hey, you know.
You know we
So
got no. I don't know if you want to say that. I don't know if you want to tell them that now. Mm-hmm.
I would have, like I say, it's always a learning experience. It's
Yeah.
always a chance to,
Mm-hmm.
revamp. You don't give up, and giving those, people the money back, you gain something, because now you gain their respect. Because
Mm-hmm.
had you just took the money and just kept going, like, they would have felt cheated. But then I guarantee you, the next event when you called on them same 4, they was
Mm-hmm.
right there ready. And it's
Yeah.
just like Donna Tucson. My
Mm-hmm.
grandmother used to always tell me, that's why I know Donna Tusa grew up in the South. My grandmother always told me, if you have 9 broke friends, you the 10th one.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So you
Yeah.
you know, it don't matter how, if you could be rich and have 9, you're gonna be broke. Because
Mm-hmm.
what you around is what you're gonna become. Your surroundings and the people that talk to you, if you don't have that positive influence in your life, like if I just hang around with only people that are negative, then I'm gonna have a negative outlook on everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
give up easily. I ain't gonna be able to go through nothing. I ain't gonna be able to stand nothing. I'm not gonna understand what it means to fail or to have the motivations. So a lot of times we have to take a step back and look at the people that's around us. Are
Yeah.
you around someone that's nurturing your growth? Are you around somebody that's going to nurture your business? Are you around somebody that's want a free hand because you had that business? You got
Mm-hmm.
to be careful, because people sometimes become leeches and roaches and rodents in
Mm.
your life, and you have to put out some traps and some roach spray to get rid of them rodents. You
Good
know,
luck. Good luck.
um, it's the truth. I live in the country. I'm gonna tell you
Mm-hmm.
something about living in the country, in this
Mm-hmm.
this little
About.
country of mine. We got trees, we got rats, we got roaches everywhere. But one
Mm-hmm.
thing I don't have is rats and roaches in my house. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because I put things around my house to protect it, to keep the things that I don't want inside out. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to do yourself like that. The things you don't want on the inside of your heart, or the things that you want around you, you got to make sure you keep those people away from you. Negativity. Negativity is the number one thing that get you thrown away from me. Because if you negative, or have a negative, or got negative thoughts about you can't do this, ain't nothing I can't do what I got on my side. So
Come
if
on.
I decide to do something, God with me, oh, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be successful regardless.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just my take. If you have to be careful, because what if you have people around you, Raheem, to tell you, "Oh, Raheem, that's dumb. Didn't nobody show up? You ought to
Mm-hmm.
sit down somewhere. You know
Mm-hmm.
that ain't for you. You
Yeah.
know what? God trying to tell you something that if
Mm-hmm.
nobody showed up now, they ain't gonna show up later. Don't you do no another event.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of people should be far away."
Exactly. Exactly.
Because you probably had people telling you, them 4 people there, "Oh, it's okay. It's gonna be better next time. Do it
Yeah.
again."
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Mm-hmm.
as people need that encouragement, and we need positivity, saying that we can do things even in our failures. We still need people there saying, "You know what? Get up,
Yes.
get
Yes.
up.
Mm-hmm. Come
Don't
on.
stay down there. Why are you
Mm-hmm.
waddling with them pigs and you a
Mm-hmm.
king's pig? Get
Come
up
on.
and go back home." That's what you need. That's what the prodigal son needed. Somebody
Mm.
tell him, "Get up, you get your butt up."
Okay. All right,
And
preacher.
and if you don't ha-
All right, preacher.
and if
Now,
you don't have that, you need to tell yourself.
yeah, exactly. Let me do this. We got a call. I think it's Rico. Rico, good morning. So, how you doing this morning?
All right, I can't complain. And I'm getting in a little earlier this morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, brother. We're
Come on,
talking.
Rico.
Well, this is Black Friday, and we're talking about business. We're talking about business, man, and I was talking about how people. We talk about how people sometimes give up on their business, on their ideals, too quickly. And I was telling them the story about how I had an event. My wife and I lived in Columbia, South Carolina, USC. The Gamecocks. Everybody know who that is. They had a game on the same day that I had my game, not my game, but I had my event. And man, I had 4 people. I planned the event out, did everything. It was in the earlier stages of my wife and I in the promotional company. And one thing I overlooked is looking at the calendar and what my competition is on that particular day. Needless to say, there was a home game, man. They had a home game. So either the people that would have come to my event was either at the game or they was at home watching the game. Now, Gamecocks had won a game and don't know how long. They hadn't won a game and don't know how long, but the people were just dedicated to the Gamecocks. They were so dedicated to the Gamecocks. Let me tell you how dedicated people are in Columbia, South Carolina, to the Gamecocks and to the University of South Carolina. The Carolina Panthers wanted to play right there in South Carolina, in Columbia, South Carolina. They wanted to have their stadium right there at the Gamecocks because they play on Sunday, Gamecocks play on Saturday. So they were trying to come together and have their game. The Carolina Panthers, professional team, right there in Columbia. The Gamecocks would not allow it to happen because they felt it would interrupt what they was doing with their games, which was on Saturday, which had nothing to do with being on Sunday. And so they would not let the Carolina Panthers come there. So the Carolina Panthers ended up in Charlotte. That's how dedicated people are to that. But my thing is this right here. It affected my event. I only had 4 people to come, man. 4 people. 4 that showed up. Now, had I given up at that time, me and my wife would not have been successful in the business that we had there. Because we would have thought, we can't do this. This ain't it. It ain't working. Blah blah blah. So, what do you say about or to a person that give up too early, Rico?
I mean, with that situation right there that you were just speaking of, you probably could have targeted those people that don't like the football game had you had you thought about the fact that they were playing that day.
Mm-hmm.
But that just don't show you that sometimes you have to be a little patient. And to me, anytime I plan on an event or I get with somebody, I have an idea about an event, even if it's just an idea period, I look at it from the perspective of the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Or the customer, potential customer, and that goes a long way because that first off you got to be optimistic and confident in doing what you're doing, but you got to be patient and do some research, know who your target audience is, who are you trying to attract. If you're doing an event and just trying to target children, you need to find out a way to target those children and see what's going on that day. That might go against your event. But some people really and truly, if you're not properly educated or prepared, to plan events or, say how to start a business, you may just go in with a simple mind thinking, hey, I could make some money, and you really might be looking at it on the wrong end. So like a lot of these people I see around here, they may start a business or start some kind of venture. And if it isn't successful, they on to the next. and they
Mhm.
start them left and right. It
Yeah.
never works, but they
Mhm.
still keep investing and keep trying.
Mhm.
They don't have the patience.
Rico, do you
They
think
just looking for the outcome. They want something quick.
Rico, a person that's like that, one of the reasons why they're not successful is because they're taking the same mindset and the same platform, the same format into another business, and if it didn't work in this business, they trying to make this same format work somewhere else. But it's not that the idea is bad; it's just the format is bad.
Right. It's a format. It's the beating your head up against the wall. And it's hard to believe that you have to tell people that
Mhm.
they're supposed to learn from their lessons. But how many people we know have got repeat charges and repeat offenders in prison
Yeah, yeah.
for the same stuff over and
Mhm.
over? So it's
Mhm.
like, how many people have been married and divorced 4 times by the time they 40?
Mm.
You look at stuff like that and you be like, well, man, you didn't learn your lesson from the last time. They
Mhm.
getting with the same type of man. They getting with the same type of woman.
Yeah, yeah.
We sort of spoke about that yesterday. So in life,
Being
period,
messy, Rico.
you just have to just have the right perspective
Mhm.
and the right positive outlook on
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
Like I had last week, I had an old friend hit me up. This female hit me up. She came out of the house and I hadn't talked to her in a while, but she sort of depressed me.
Mhm.
After that, the same thing happened before I came over there Tuesday.
Mhm.
I got depressed listening to the conversation in the barber shop, and I'm like, man, how do I keep surrounding myself around people that think like this?
Yeah.
So this woman, she came to the house, and she told me that sometimes she felt like it'd be better off being dead than alive.
Mm. Good
I
Lord.
said, wait a minute. I said, you mean to tell me you'd rather be somewhere in a box right now than sitting here talking to me and laughing?
Mhm.
And Bernie Mac was on satellite radio.
Mhm.
So Bernie Mac said a joke that was funny. So me, I don't let nothing go.
Yeah.
I waited about 15 minutes and Bernie Mac said something and she was like, man, that Bernie Mac crazy. He started cracking me up and she just went to talk about how he makes her laugh. And I said, just think about it. A second ago, you told me you think it'd be better off to be dead. I said, but
Yeah.
you mean to tell me you wouldn't want to, spend time having joy and happiness?
Yeah.
I said, it ain't going to happen every day, 24/7.
Exactly.
I said, but you got to take the good with the bad
Mhm.
and learn from it.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's just so many lessons in general in life that you have to take with you in a business or just planning events.
Mhm.
Even if it's the nonprofit to help the community, you have to go into the planning with the right mindset and the right purpose.
Exactly. Exactly. Curtis McNeil, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning, family. Morning, fellas. Morning, ladies. How y'all doing? What's going on?
Hey, Kurt, I want to ask you a
Hey,
question.
Kurt.
You lived in Columbia. When you in Columbia, were you living in Columbia that time when Gamecocks lost, I think it was 11 or 12 games in a row, went from one season to the next season, and they hadn't won? Were you there then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was telling everybody about this morning, because I had an event during that time, man, and my wife and I, and we had 4 people to come, but I hadn't planned it. It was in the earlier stages of Shanae Promotions, the name of the company that we had. It was during the earlier stages of that. And we planned that event. It happened to be at the same time a home Gamecock had a home game, and the stadium, man, Kurt, you could vouch just like I can, man. They hadn't won. They lost 11, 12, whatever game. I know it was at least 11 games in a row, but every game that stadium was packed. You couldn't get a ticket, man. And so that's just the dedication that they had to them Gamecocks, man. And so my thing is this right here. We had the event and we had 4 people to show up. And we're talking now, Curtis, about people giving up on their dreams too early. Now, had we looked at that and said, we did all this planning, paying all this money, got the venue, got all this stuff, and only 4 people showed up. Had we just looked at that, Curtis, we could have very well gave up on the whole Shanae Promotion idea and everything. What do you think? Do you think people give up too early?
Oh, they absolutely do, especially for some young entrepreneurs that really don't know the scheme of being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, every single startup business, you're not actually going to be successful until your 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's already known that every single startup business there's a greater chance that it'll flop in the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's already known that the first 2 years of any business is extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard on your pockets, especially if you bootstrapping your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard on your pockets. It's hard on your relationship. It's hard on everything about you, even though you might be a go-getter. It's just hard because you're starting a capital earning situation. So you're really at the hassle. I don't know the word that I want to use, but you're really at the beck and call of your customer base. You're starting. You might not even have a customer base yet, or you might have a customer base that ain't used to you being so business at that point. Like, yeah, I'm used to you doing things on the side, but I'm not used to you. Okay, now you got a shop.
Kurt, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So, there's a lot of things that has to go on when you just starting, and a lot of people. Then you got some people. Honestly, you got some people that go into it thinking they're gonna make $100,000 the first year.
Yeah,
that is very rare, man. That is very rare.
Yeah,
The way people see returns like that. But a part of your situation, Raheem, and I remember those years specifically because I remember when the city of Columbia, state of South Carolina, turned down all that capital from the NFL.
Yeah, I was just talking about that. Yep, I was just telling them about that. Yep, for the Panthers.
They turned down a lot of capital from the NFL.
Yep.
And denied that team entry into South Carolina because of the Gamecocks.
Exactly.
So, people got to know to make the right business decisions. And outside of making the right business decisions, just because you see it get a little hard and it look like you ain't gonna make no money, try and stay the course. Try and stay the course, especially if you got a good concept and you got a good niche.
Absolutely. We got a call from the 919 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Sheila. How are you guys doing this morning? Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Good morning, young lady. How you doing?
Hey, Miss Sheila.
I'm doing well. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I feel like I've been gone for so long.
We miss you too, sis. We miss you too. We miss you. What we're talking about today, we're talking about people giving up on business too soon, giving up on themselves, on their dreams. And I told them the story about how my wife and I, we started Shanice Promotion. We had an event in Columbia, South Carolina at that time, and it was right against the USC Gamecocks football a team that had a home game that day, and we planned the event out. We had everything lined up. We expected a great turnout. We had 4 people to show up. 4 people to show up. Now, had we just given up on our dream at that time, we would not have had the success that we had with Shanice Promotions. And so, my thing is, Sheila, do you think people actually give up on their dreams too early, too quickly?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we are so used to instant gratification. We microwave food. We can have food delivered to us. I mean, we just don't have to work as hard as we used to for some things because there's technology that has allowed us to just get things so fast now. And so we think that that's the way everything is. And we don't, set aside the time to sort of understand that, hey, it is really going to take a while before you build something. And one of the things that I had, you were sharing a personal story, and I'll share this one. I've been trying to kick off a YouTube channel for quite a few years now. And when I first started, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And of course, you're there with like all these other people, and it's like, how do you stand out? How do you find your audience? And what I did was to set small goals. And so once I really figured out kind of what I wanted the channel to be about, I said, well, hey, I just want to get to the point where I get at least one person looking at one of my videos every day. That when I pull up the analytics, at least one person came today, and that was all I wanted. And so to me, that was progress because the month before I didn't have that. And so what I started to look at was, hey, so August, I had 20 out of the 30 days where I got at least one view. And then by September, it was, every day. And then by October, I was saying, okay, I want at least double digits. And then after a few months, I was like, okay, I want at least triple digits. Okay, so you have to set milestone goals. I think sometimes people are so focused on that end place, they see themselves at that spot. And that's great because that'll keep you focused on what your target is. But you also need to have milestones that will keep you in the game, because you can get worn out if you don't feel like you're making progress. You don't see, you don't feel like you're any closer. So I definitely think that in the world that we're in today, you asked a very relevant question. Do people give up too soon? I think yes, people give up too soon. I started that YouTube channel December 2017. I put a couple videos up there. I didn't like it. So then I stopped for a few months and nothing was really going on. Then I came back and I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. But once I started to be a little bit more consistent and to start to say, okay, I'm going to at least have this many videos this month, focus on the things you can control. Set milestones that you can accomplish. And that'll help you stay committed to it. And as you in your mind, you go, that's the place where I want to be. Like, focus on the journey and learn from that and cherish that. Because some people don't even make it through the journey for other reasons, But yeah, people are just, and so I don't blame it all on people, because I think part of it is the conditioning that's going on in society now. We're just sort of used to it.
Exactly. Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm somewhat in the same situation. It's like I've had for the past, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years, I've had people reaching out to me wanting to do podcasts, suggesting that I do podcasts, and that was just based off of my posts, not even hearing me speak. And when you post, and you can easily put things better grammatically than you can when you're speaking sometimes, at least me anyway. And so I went with that. I always felt like, okay, I've been a representative before, you know what I'm saying? I do speak up when other people don't speak up. But, maybe I should give it a shot. So in the process of doing it, I started getting more supporters. I've reached out to you and did what I did. And I had people start cash apping me money and telling me, hey, you need to start making some T-shirts. I'll buy some. But in the process of me doing what I'm doing, it ain't picking up like they said they would. These 50 people that's been asking me to do a podcast, it's hard to reach them. But see, I know that somebody wants to hear me. They want more of me. So I got to find a way to do it properly, because I ain't doing something right. I feel like I'm doing it. Maybe I'm not putting enough effort. I know I'm not putting enough effort into it. But at the same time, this process is something that I need to reach out to somebody has been doing this and get some mentorship to help me work out the kinks, because this is something that I'm unfamiliar with. Now, my options. Let me finish this right quick. My options were to register for college and to go ahead and get the official training on communications and advertising, because I know how valuable that is, and knowing how I want to present my product. But at the same time, I got to surround myself with people that are already familiar with what I'm trying to do, so I could go ahead and get on the right path. So a lot of people really don't know that they need to reach out to people. And I'm gonna give you another example. When I was living in Florida, I used to talk to my grandma all the time, and she didn't have people to go take her to the doctor and go to the grocery store. This was like 2007. But I never heard of a Uber. I never heard of Shipt or DoorDash or nothing like that. And so when she was calling me from Alabama and telling me that she couldn't get to the doctor, and the people she was sending to the store for was like sort of ripping her off and this and that, I was like, man, I said, it got to be some kind of service for children and elderly people to be able to get back and forth to Walmart and stuff, or get stuff done for them. Now I see what Walmart is doing. Now, this is the funny part. I brought up the idea of an Uber or a Shipt, and I was told by other people it wouldn't work. And so I just gave up on it, but I knew it would work. I said, man, you ain't telling me nothing. That's a perfect idea, man. There's too many old people out here that need people to pick up groceries for them, and they can't move around. And I looked and I started seeing this stuff going on, man, and I kicked myself in the butt, because this is like the fifth idea that I've had that I've seen somebody else go and make themselves billionaires on.
Yes, sir.
But I didn't have the confidence or the drive to push it. even though I knew when I had this idea it was guaranteed. So I mean, we really need to have that confidence and that knowledge. You know, a lot of us are going out here on our own trying to do it the hard way. Like I said, beating our heads up against the wall and not realizing that there's another route. Maybe we just need to seek a little advice.
Exactly. Good deal. Sheila, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask him if he had already started a podcast.
I hadn't started the podcast. I got the radio show on DKM Media Group, and I had been reading every day on Facebook Live. I read. I figured that there's a lot of people that we need to know about in our community that we don't learn about in school, like Marcus Garvey and stuff like that. I read about PTs. I read about post-traumatic slave syndrome because that's something that we need to know that's going on within us. But I figure if people don't like to read books, I read it to them. So I started reading on Facebook, and now I'm going to my YouTube page with that, along with the radio show. And so I'm just crawling, but at the same time, I'm confused. I ain't gonna say I'm confused. I'm back and forth about not moving too fast. I don't want to go and start making these T-shirts and don't nobody get the shirts, but these two women that I know want more, well, they may want more out of me than to follow me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm torn between that end of it. These people say they want you, but they might not participate and support you like you say.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I make a suggestion? So I hear you on the T-shirt, but it might be easier to just continue down the media route. If you already have a radio show and you're recording that, there is an app that you can get on your phone called Anchor, and it is free, and you can start a podcast that way. You can set it up so it's distributed automatically to like Spotify and all of these other platforms. Like, you don't even have to do a whole lot. All you have to do is to record your podcast, and they put it out there. You can even set it up so that you can have ads on it, and so that you can get monetized and make money once you start to build. I mean, you don't have to wait. That you can add that in the very beginning. And so if you're looking for a way to sort of test it out, you know, whether or not that's the route you want to go, then, I mean, I definitely check it out. I actually have been doing a little bit of it myself, and I was actually getting ready to go the very same route with some of the business and legal advice. I was going to be reading some things. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's called Anchor, Anchor.
Good deal.
I'll check that out. And that's a prime example of what I was saying. I appreciate that. Sometimes you have to get advice and mentorship from those that's already doing it. Or they may be in the same place you are, just went a little different direction that's working for them. So, you know, that iron sharpening iron, that just proved it with what she did right there. I appreciate you, sister.
Absolutely. Now, I think we just lost Chris. I was ready to come to. I think she's at work and she had to take off. But let's go to Donna. Donna, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Toussaint. Donna, you there? Okay, I think we might have lost Donna. But I know who we do have here. We have Toya with the T. Toya with the T. Good morning. How you doing?
Morning, family. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. We're talking about the situation that I had quite a few years ago when I was still living in Columbia, South Carolina. My wife and I started the promotional company, had the event, and told you we had 4 people to show up, but I didn't do my background work, and I didn't understand that there was a USC University of Gamecock football game that same time, and so my audience was either at the game or watching the game. Now, had I given up at that time, we got some background noise, television, something coming from somebody's line. Mute your line for me so we don't have that background noise. But had I given up, or had my wife and I given up at that time, we would not have had the success. So my question is this: do you think sometimes people give up on their dreams too quickly, too early?
Absolutely we do. And I also think that sometimes when we give up on our dreams, it's because we didn't know what we was doing. You know, we get frustrated and give up too early. A lot of people made some very valid points. And I've been back and forth out of business school since 2006, and I've worked for some really large franchises since 2000. And it's amazing the steps that they take to lead to their success. And one of the most important things that they do is everything is on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to my regular everyday, even including me, I know better. When I do my businesses, I don't have that paperwork right the way I'm supposed to. And this is a key indicator when it comes to building your business that, you know, it can be detrimental, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't keep up with costs in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make the proper decisions and choices with your businesses and your marketing strategy in your head. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that oftentimes when you look at the formula to why most businesses fail, and this is where schooling comes in at, and I'm grateful for it because I've done it on a daily basis, but it's like when I go to school, it kind of breaks it down. It's like, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the Chick-fil-A's, who they're going to put up a new building in the lowest, they're going to make it $3.1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever decides to invest with Chick-fil-A, they're going to make a profit their first year, versus where them taking their own way of doing things and reinventing the wheel to start their own business, and then they don't profit that first year. Why? What's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because there's a universal formula to business. Oftentimes, it's something that is taught in school. Oftentimes, it's a method that's already been proven that we don't follow, and that's why we have complications, and that's why we give up. Because 9 times out of 10, we're not following the business formula that it takes to get where we need to go.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Rico, what do you say to that? Not following the proper guidelines and the things that we need to do to be successful. What do you say to that? Sheila, coming to you next.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. I could give you a prime example of that. Back, I'm gonna say in the late '90s, me and some of my partners, we had a little rap group, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a demand going on, which it wasn't anything new to me because I was used to attention, but those guys wasn't. They let it get to the head. So as it was me and one more person, we pretty much had complete logic. We were like, man, we need to get a manager. We need to get a manager to come in here and tell us what to do, because right now, neither one of us feel like we could tell the other one what to do because we grown.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we need a neutral person to come in and, do this and that. No, we don't need no manager. We grown. We can do it on our own. We should be grown enough to communicate. Now, mind you, I had already looked at the character of these people. All of us have been participating in things, but some of us were just participants and some of us were achievers. And in that process, you have to follow a certain process if you want to be, I'm going to say successful in what you're doing. If you want to be the best, like I was the best saxophone player, it took work to do that beyond talent.
Mm-hmm.
But some people were good and they didn't practice as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at that and then, okay, we messed around and we ran into CeeLo Green. And CeeLo asked, he actually was interested in us.
Mm-hmm.
First thing he asked, did you have a manager? I told him no. So I gave him the same spiel that my partners gave.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, man, take it from me. Y'all gonna need a manager. Y'all gonna need a manager to tell y'all things that y'all not want to do, and also to give y'all an honest opinion of what needs to be done and handle business that y'all can't handle even if y'all work. And I said, man, you know what? I said that. I said, but my guys, they didn't want to hear that, man. I said, they too grown. They don't want to listen to nobody else. They feel like they're going to be less than a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought about that over time because we never did make it. But that advice, when I went back to them and told them that, they still didn't want to go and get a manager.
Mm.
People reached out to us to be our manager. Still didn't want to get a manager. They were worried we were going to have to pay somebody. We were going to have to come up out for a portion of our money we made in it, but we hadn't even made any money.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, it dawned on me then that you have to listen to the people that's already there. If this man is in Goodie-Mark and they already traveling the world and he telling us, man, I don't want to hear that. Y'all got to get a manager.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I need to hear because he's somewhere that I'm trying to get.
Exactly.
So we do have to take that information and get it from people that already has been there to get it done the right way. Like what Toya said, the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the smallest things could be so detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll give up just because you didn't have a couple of words right in the contract.
Exactly.
Or didn't have a contract.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you talk about contract, you're going down Sheila's lane. So Sheila, what's on your heart right now?
Oh my gosh, that is definitely, that's what I was going to talk about. I tell you, I reviewed, a contract a while back, and you just sort of catch stuff. And if you really know your client really well, then you can catch things that for everybody else, that provision might have been fine. But because maybe your client's lifestyle, other commitments, things that they have going on, other contracts that they've signed up for, that this provision will not work for you, for your client. And so really it is important to number one, sort of get at least a basic understanding of some things, some general terms that will appear in just about every contract. And so when I do a contract for somebody, I always try to make it a learning experience for my clients. And I go through it with them afterwards and explain the boilerplate provisions, because I'm just like, hey, you're going to see this in just about every contract. And if you don't see it, you want to ask about it if you don't have an attorney looking over it. And so there, by the time we get to maybe the second or third contract, there's some provisions we don't have to talk about because now they know what it is. And if something were to come up and they had to sign something really fast and they couldn't get up with me or another attorney, at least they know that there's some things they don't have to worry about in that, and they can pay more attention to some of these other things. So I don't just consider myself to be an attorney who's reviewing a contract for a client, but also a person who's trying to teach them what some of these terms are so that they can become more educated and informed about these contracts themselves. But that is one of those things I'm just like, look, always have somebody to at least look over it and talk to you about it. Even if you can't have them represent you and negotiate terms with the other side, at least know what it is you're signing.
And tell everybody how often that pothole, that little sink spot destroys a lot of businesses.
Oh, let me tell you, I have watched people have to give away a portion of their company because they didn't have a contract in place when they brought somebody on. And in order to get rid of the person, they had to agree to give away part of the company that they founded that the person didn't even found with them. Wow. I have watched somebody hire a person to record video for them, and only to have the videographer tell them, oh, you don't need a contract because I'm a professional. And then, of course, my client didn't know that whoever makes the video, whoever creates whatever it is, they own it unless you have a contract that says otherwise. And so my person got the final video, but my client had no access to any of the raw files, which was all footage of her. So she couldn't even get any of that. And so again, no contract, no footage. She only got that in the final video. So I'm telling you, you have to be very, even if you can't not afford to hire someone, sit down and write down with that other party what your understanding is of the contract, because at least that is a start, and at least hopefully you won't be having to argue over those issues if you go to court. You might have to argue over some ones that you didn't miss, but at least you have minimized your liability.
Exactly. Now, Curtis, you know about the video side. Talk to us about that, man. Have you seen issues like that before? Curtis?
What? What? What you say?
Come on, man.
Well, you better hustle. Bro, that happened to me. It wasn't a disagreement or anything like that. But as a business owner, I had to accept the fact that, guess what? I didn't do a contract, so it ain't even no need me even asking for that. I did a trailer, and I know, business is business. My guy is a businessman at the end of the day, and I didn't contract his work, so he got all my footage. You know what I'm saying? I'll never see that footage again. I'll see the trailer, but I'll never actually see the raw footage again because I didn't have it on contract. It's business at the end of the day. When I heard Miss Sheila speak about having a manager, speak about having a manager. You and Rico speaking about having a manager. It is definitely, I recommend any artist that's listening on this phone right now. Don't you try and manage yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you try. You got too many things as a creator. You got too many things going on. No, you need a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will get caught up in the management side, and now your creative side will be lacking because the management side and the management and the creative operates on two different sides of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. You gotta understand this. The I guess you could say the psychological breakdown of human beings. The creative side of your brain is the right side, if I'm not mistaken. The analytical side of your brain is the left side. Management mainly operates on the analytical side of the brain. They understand the numbers, how these numbers make this, how this make that, where I need to be at this time, where I need to be at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people, you're really good managers, are people who can actually fluctuate. They can move from the left side of the brain to the right side of the brain. They don't know that they're doing it. In their mind, they're just that good. But what it is they're fluctuating from the left side to the right side, from the left side to the right side to create new opportunities. And a lot of your really good entrepreneurs, they possess that quality as well. But I was just listening. And one of the reasons why I created CNT was because I got tired of being in situations to where if I got to bring somebody in, I got to give up some creative control.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes what a person may think is not what you want. Now, their idea might not be bad at all, but it's not what you wanted for that particular project. But if I can, since this is Blackout Friday, I need to plug this in, Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
Plug two things in. At 11 o'clock today, we are going to be on the DKM media group.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
AM media group. Around the table talk. What's the topic, Raheem? Go on, let them know what the topic is.
Is masturbation the same as abortion?
What?
Okay, so if you want to chime in, if you want to, if you got something on your mind, you want to say, get it off, how you feel, chime in, please do. We would love to have you. And also, Raheem, I need a favor.
What's that?
And for anybody that's listening, I need a favor. It's a young artist coming out of Ridgeway, South Carolina. His name is Knowledge 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's Knowledge, love to have you, and you put it in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again.
No. That's me start another watch party. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Say what you said again.
Yeah. Being as though this is Black Friday, I'm gonna go on and plug this kid in.
Mm-hmm.
There's a young artist coming out of Ridgeway, South Carolina, 29130. His name is Knowledge 3. The young kid is powerful. The words that he's saying out his mouth and the music that he got behind his words, he's speaking for the last probably 2 generations. He's just speaking in a vernacular that these young kids can hear it. So it would behoove you. He need a manager. It will behoove you, somebody, to get with this young kid. His work ethic is through the roof. I'm going to say his name again. It's Knowledge 3. You can go on Instagram, look him up, Knowledge 3. I don't think he's on Facebook, but he definitely on Instagram, and he definitely on Twitter. He got a song called Difficult Planet, a song called Sticks and Stones, a new release song called Dropping Jewels. This kid is speaking. He's doing everything that John Lewis said. Get in good trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So he's speaking the things that King and Malcolm and Lewis and Megda, all those people were speaking. So I highly recommend y'all check him out. Give him some support. He got a YouTube channel. Listen to his music. I'm not going to lie. It's not all clean. But he's saying what most of us won't say.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
So I just wanted to plug that in for Black Friday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Rico, what's on your heart, brother? And Toya, coming to you next.
I'm just I was sitting up here wondering, why is it that our artists still going through those bad contracts that they have been going through since before I was born. I ain't gonna be able to talk long because I'm in this heavy part of traffic, but I'm noticing that's still going on a lot. These people getting bad record deals. And I mean, like, they should, that should be a learned lesson by now. I mean, some things you don't even have to reach out to other people to know about. So I'm just trying to find out, has anybody noticed that, and what could be going on, the reason why we are still having our young artists going through this stuff.
Toya?
Do you want me to answer some of that?
Yes. Yeah, Sheila, I'm coming to you next. Absolutely. Go ahead, Toya. I'm going to Sheila.
Yeah, well, you know what? They got this new saying. They say, "Do anything for likes." You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, when we do things, you know, we do things that I don't know. I guess, you know, that's gonna be what's most comfortable for us. And when they step out here and get these contracts, it's not all the time that they don't know. They won't even listen. A lot of people don't like to listen, and that's the big problem. And I got a whole topic I'm gonna hit on that soon as I get ready to go back live, because we don't like to listen. And you know, it's like if you do it for a like, you know what I'm saying, a contract means nothing. You know, just the GP of Raheem calling on them, putting them on a radio station and send them to a whole nother level, to the where they'll change and flip on you like, oh no, you ain't even get a check yet. You just did a spot on DKM radio. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with these deals, it's not a lot of them don't know. It's a lot of them don't care. You know what I'm saying? And that's in more ways than just the rap game. That's in any game that you got to degrade, terrorize, or stoop down. You know what I'm saying? A group of people for, you know, money. You know what I'm saying? So it's just what they are attracted to, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? Something that you want to do. And it's a part of God's plan. You know what I'm saying? For us, a part of God's plan. Everything that we do, even though we don't want to see it, you know, but those mistakes, even when they do take it into the wrong context or the wrong field, it's still going to work to the good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's a lot of bad deals. But with social media, it doesn't have to be like that. But again, they got to get a manager, and they have to listen to someone. They can go on Google. You don't even have to wait for that opportunity. People have become millionaires on these channels by happenstance. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not even really that hard to do that in this day and time. There are channels upon channels that tell you how you can monetize yourself no matter where you are. And it's not about music like Soulja Boy. But again, most people, they don't want to do it. They don't want to listen, and they don't want to follow the rules that it takes to be successful. And that's why they're not. That's what separates us from them.
Good deal. Sheila?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. She touched on quite a few things. And so I'm going to touch on what she said first and then talk about something a little different. But yeah, people don't want to do it. It's just like anything else. You know, we know how to lose weight, but we won't do the things that'll make us healthier and lose weight. We know how to get a better job, but we don't necessarily want to commit the extra time to learning a skill sometimes and getting more education, whatever that may look like. Sometimes we just don't want to do it. The other thing is, what I typically find with my clients is they are more into whatever that job is. And that job is not them being an attorney and drafting and negotiating contracts. That job is being the songwriter. That job is being the chef or the restaurant owner. That job is being the barber or having a barber school. They're doing that thing. And it's like, Sheila, you know, I already don't know about this. I'm giving it to you to handle, and you tell me what I need to do, because I got to do this over here. So in my experience, number one, aside from people who don't care, number one, they generally are focused on running the business. They are in that business mode. They've got to make that business successful, and that is what they're focusing on. Number two, sometimes they actually do have a pretty good idea of what's in the contract. Like, they've done plenty of them. This is their third or fourth restaurant. This is their third or fourth commercial lease for the restaurant. But they're like, look, this is not my deal. I get it. I understand it. Can you just go through it, make sure there's nothing I'm missing? Here's what I'm concerned about, and just get back to me. you know?
Mhm.
And so sometimes that's them being more efficient about the use of their time because they need to focus on the business. They don't need to be worried about contracts, and they need to
Yes.
be able to turn it over to somebody they can turn it over to.
Mhm.
And so generally, that's what I see. People who aren't doing it for other reasons, it's because, number one, a lot of Black folks still don't know attorneys like that. You know, we don't have attorney in a pocket that we can just always be that person that just sort of
Yes.
hit up and say, hey, you know what, can you? And I know people like people will text me sometimes. One guy texted me recently, I think it was at like 9 o'clock at night. And he was like, Sheila, I got this NDA. Can you take a look at it? I'm like, yeah, just email it to me now. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you were going to get back to me that quick. I mean, by that night, I had already emailed some comments back to him. And then the next day, I mean, you know, because it wasn't a big deal. It was like a one pager. But if you don't have anybody, if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to somebody, a lot of people, I'm in North Carolina, a lot of people, and this is the same thing in Georgia, a lot of people are still out in these rural areas.
Mhm.
Like they don't have access to a business law attorney, and not certainly, number one, not one they can afford, not one they can trust, and not one they know and feel comfortable with. And so there's still a lot of obstacles in place.
Yes.
All right, so let me touch on the piece that the other guy said about we should already know these things by now. Not necessarily. I think people know the stories sometimes, like they know, oh, you know, I remember Prince got taken with Sony or whoever it was,
Mhm.
you know, and what he did and all that, but you don't know what the contract said. You know, all you know is he felt like he was being owned. He felt like he was a slave under the corporate media based on what was in his contract. But who knows what was in his contract? Did you read his contract? Did you go over it with an attorney to figure out? No, people didn't do that. People didn't sit down and do that. They knew that something went wrong with it. They've heard about 360 deals and about, you know, the whoever's buying your stuff coming in and wanting a piece of everything, but they don't know what it looks like when you get it in a contract. That's the thing. It's one thing to know about it, to hear about it. It's another thing to see that language written out and understand that that is what that language means. Okay, because remember, these contracts are written by attorneys for other attorneys.
Yeah.
They're generally not written in a manner for the layperson to be able to understand. I'm different. I try to write my stuff. I tell people this all the time. And I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. I try to tell people this all the time. I write for Aunt Betty so that if something happens for you and Aunt Betty has to pull up the contract, Aunt Betty needs to be able to understand it so she can go get your money for you while you're in the hospital. So that when you come out, you still got a business.
Exactly.
So those are some of the things that are going on when we're looking at why are we still in this place? Why are we still, you know, not understanding what's in contract? There are a whole host of reasons, starting with, like she said, sometimes we don't care. And then other times there are real issues at play.
And thank you, Aunt Betty, for helping me out. I sure appreciate you, Aunt Betty. I don't know who Aunt Betty is, but you know, I'm sure she's a sweet person. Rico, what's on your heart?
Hey, I agree with everything she just said. That language in those contracts, you better get somebody in there to read them, man, or you just gonna be signing stuff. I ain't no telling what you're gonna be signing away. I know when I was union representative, we had to negotiate contracts with the company. And oh my goodness, when I tell you they left us hanging, I was so ticked off because we had our regular representative, but then we had a district representative that came down and sort of schooled us on it. But he still wasn't really, I'm gonna say, qualified to do the negotiating. And so I saw, really truly, I realized a long time ago what kind of disadvantage people are even in the work industry, just in the regular workforce. You get those unions, the unions, man, they really have to have attorneys and people that's aware of what's going on with these contracts because it's so much of an unfair advantage. Trying to negotiate with people that know this language. Or like she said, they actually have attorneys draw this stuff up. And here it is, you got a regular guy like me that dropped out of college and they're trying to interpret it. And I'm telling them other people, like, look, man, we need to get some attorneys in here, man. That's why they've been getting us all the time. They keep on having these stipulations. They got rules in the contract that contradict the general company rules, and they use them both ways. And so it's like, you know, you really have to be on top of the legal end of it. And I really think going back to the artists, that's what happens with them. I believe they choose the people that they know probably aren't knowledgeable enough and that are greedy enough to take the first thing smoking and get out of that predicament. And when you find people like that, they don't want to read no contract. They just want to get to the money.
Exactly.
Just like they want to get to the light. But if the money is on the table, they ain't thinking about the long end or the percentages or the royalties or nothing like that. They just want that initial return.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Toya, what's on your heart?
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's clearing her throat. She's clearing her throat, y'all.
I'm sorry, I was choking. My bad. But no, everybody's making some valid points, man, and it's just critical as individuals. You know what I'm saying? And as a people, we have too much talent to let fall by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the main thing that's been going on is rejection and fear of failure is what holds us back.
Mm-hmm.
Because we compete with each other over girls and something foolish, boyfriends, Jordans, cars. You understand what I'm saying? We will do certain things, but those things do not actually attribute to the rise of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever, I don't know, whatever phase this is, I don't know, disappointment, devastation, we just gave up. We're going to have to get out of that, because there are some very valid things that we need to start focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to start sovereignizing to make sure we're going to be okay, just as individuals. And that collective group of individuals, with what we know, with our talent, need to start getting together and making this happen for us.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of continuing to go on this cycle, having all this information and still giving our money to people. We already know this business, but we still talking about what we can't do, what I'm scared of, what I thought I can't, because I done this, that, and third, what I ain't gonna do. Yo, let's just do this, man.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Let's just do this. That's what we do. That's what we came from. They gave us nothing. We had to make it work from nothing. So for those of us that have talents and ambitions to make this happen, let's stop with the what we can't, let's go with the what we finna make happen, what we finna make do. No matter what nobody say, well, we ain't never did that before, or well, that's it, exactly what we gonna do. Let's go ahead and get together and do that. And I'm available. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to go with anybody when we ready to stop saying what we ain't, what we can't, and make this thing move forward. Because yes, we can.
Exactly. So let me change gears for just 1 second. Curtis, I'm coming to you next. What is the atmosphere like right now in North Carolina with the COVID?
Are you referring to voting or business? What?
A little bit of both. Are the numbers dwindling? Because somebody told me that the number was going down in North Carolina a lot, and I was just kind of wondering about that.
Are you talking about business?
No, with the outbreak.
Oh. Like, no, the colleges are shutting down like one after the other.
Wow.
NC State was yesterday. I think ECU did it. Chapel Hill has had so many clusters. Now, I went to both Chapel Hill and NC State.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, NC State is the largest university in the state of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter, I was actually talking to my daughter yesterday, and she said when she went over there a couple of weeks ago, she said, you could tell. She said, the only reason that NC State had not been in the news like Carolina had been in the news was because NC State was not doing as much testing as Carolina was.
Wow.
Carolina actually has, they have put together a dashboard. They are finding new clusters of outbreaks on like a weekly basis,
Mm-hmm.
And they're the second largest university in the state of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about that for a second. NC State's got about 30,000. Carolina's got over 20,000. You're talking 50,000 students at those two schools alone.
Mm.
ECU is somewhere between the third and fourth most populous. It is now going to online. So if you're only talking about universities, the trend is not downward. The trend is upward, and it's a very, the slope on that is very high.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is actually over at Duke, and they are routinely testing because she just went back for her second test on Tuesday, and so she is so far right now negative as of Tuesday. They are routinely testing, they are very adamant about face coverings. Yes, there have been some news reports of some of their social gatherings too, but Duke is a much smaller school. When it opened back up in the fall, they said that juniors and seniors could not come back on campus for housing. So my daughter is in a dorm with a room to herself. All of the freshmen, they all have rooms to themselves. So they, so that really helped them out. You know, across the state, we have seen more outbreaks in our prisons. We have seen more outbreaks in our nursing facilities. And, you know, we started back up with our
Hey, Sheila.
primary school.
Sheila, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And Cole, you said something, you touched on something with the prison population. What are they doing as a whole to try to curb or make sure that because a lot of time people say, well, you know, they incarcerated, they locked up, but still they're still human beings. So what are we doing? What is the prison industry doing to make sure that the numbers in prison stay low?
Yeah, you're asking a very good question, and the answers are very hard. You know, I don't really have the answers to give you because they haven't been very transparent. I mean, now think about this for a second. There's only a certain amount of information that they can give you because of HIPAA laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people have a right to their private medical information. So what people are asking though is, how are you social distancing? Because what they've done in return is to start to release some people who were incarcerated who maybe were in for nonviolent crimes. You know, and so where you have someone who is not going to be a violent threat to the population, if that person is released, you know, these people are now being considered for early release, rightly so. Because if you can reduce the prison population, then you can increase the social distancing, and you can therefore reduce the likelihood that they will catch COVID or spread it to somebody else.
Now, Sheila,
but the thing is, we're seeing those clusters in the prisons too. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Sheila, and I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna go to somebody else because you and I could talk about this all another 4 hours. But they're doing these things to decrease the prison population. But a lot of times, a lot of the independent private institutions, they want to keep the beds filled because that's where their money come from. So, you know, how do they do both?
So I don't know. Look, I have heard people asking some of the very same questions. You know, and it's very hard to get the answers. I have not seen as many answers. I will say this, okay? I do know, you know, a few of our Black sheriffs here in North Carolina, and I do trust that they are doing their best to make sure that they are not putting people at risk. Because I'll say that because I personally know some of them, and I will vouch for their character. But that's not every sheriff, and that's not every person overseeing, you know, a county jail or something like that. And so I can't speak to all of the rest of them, but here they've been taking a lot of precautions. They have been releasing information every time there's an outbreak at the jail. You know, they've been letting people know. They've been shutting down the courthouse because I'm an attorney, and so I get the emails that say that, you know, this district court, you know, courtroom such and such is shut down, register of deeds shut down. You know, and so they're definitely keeping the population informed in general.
Yes.
It's hard to get the specifics though of especially what their protocols are. You know, and I don't know that people are actually asking from a standpoint that is then being put out in the public arena for the general, you know, for us regular people to say, okay, is that the right protocol? You know, the protocols that you have in place in terms of keeping the prison population safe.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Okay. And see, my thing is, I'm glad that, you know, I had you here because I want to ask you the question, but I didn't want, you know, put you in a situation where you had to speak for the whole prison population. But I knew you was educated enough, and I knew you knew some of the answers to some of the questions that a lot of my listeners had. Curtis, what's on your heart, man? What do you think, Curtis, is happening, or is enough happening? And we're changing gears just a little bit here to combat the amount of outbreak in the prison population.
Ask me that again, Raheem. I need to make sure I understand the question.
Are they doing enough to make sure that their inmates are not getting exposed to COVID?
No, that's not in their business model.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it like that, but I'm just gonna keep it real. It's not in their business model.
Mm.
You know, I don't know how else to put that, bro. I'm just gonna keep it plain and simple. It is not in the prison industrial complex's business model to ensure that you prevent a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
The prison industrial complex is one of the only places I know that you get paid if not one person do no work. You still get paid. In every other business model, at least one person got to be doing some work.
Mm-hmm.
The prison industrial complex, if you could build the prison and you could build, let's say, a 50-foot wall or a 100-foot wall, you could actually put folk in there and never show up and just let it be what it's going to be. You still won't get paid for them folk being in there. You know what I mean? So, no, I don't think it's in their business. I don't think it's in their business model. And I really don't. For some reason, I believe, honestly, man, and God forgive me if I'm wrong. Please forgive me if I'm wrong, because I'm about to make a real general statement. But personally, I believe that there's a larger population in America. There's a large populace in America that believe that if you're an inmate, then you're beneath them, and whatever happened to you happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real concern for you. Once you get convicted, you could be convicted falsely. But once you get convicted and you inside, I believe that there's a large part of this population that won't say it. They'll never say it in public, but they don't care about you no more. They don't care about you, and they'll justify their inability to care with the fact or with the statement, oh, he's a convict. He's an inmate.
Mm-hmm.
He should be locked up. Those things should be happening to him. You know, man.
Let me go to somebody else. Go
to somebody else, man.
We got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, Morning Glow family. It's Anna. How's everyone doing?
Hey, Anna, how you doing?
Hey, Anna, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I miss you guys very much.
Miss you as well.
Hopefully I can air here soon.
Okay, good deal. We're talking about, this is Black Friday, but we kind of ventured made a left turn there a little bit, and we're talking about, are they doing enough in the prison industry to make sure that the inmates are not contracting COVID? What do you say to that?
I have a response to that, at least for the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently working a case in Florida with that same exact situation. Long story short, inmate had been injured at their facility. Inmate was transported to another institution. In the meanwhile, during that time, COVID was, starting to come out here, whatever. They're already giving the warnings, this is what we're going to do. If we don't want COVID, they did have them with masks. I will say that. They did have them with masks. And again, I'm speaking only for the state of Florida. I'm not speaking for what every other state is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they did have them with masks. However, they're sleeping, what was it? They told me about 2 inches apart from each other. So it would be somebody's head, because it's an open bay area.
Mm-hmm.
It would be somebody's head to somebody's feet. And there's no social distancing. There's no social distancing for the lunch at the time, or to get their meals. What do they call that? Chow or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
They were never having, they never had for them to wash their hands. I had to work with my organization, We See You, to make sure that they had a space to sanitize their hands, which is, of course, then they come with soap and with water. And, they were like, I can't believe we got this. We actually got this. They're actually having them in one area. So this is what they do. Say, for example, somebody tests positive in that dorm area, right? So what they do is they put the whole dorm on lockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
They give that person time to get out, but then they move them over to another dorm. The problem with this was that there was no COVID at that prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of two things happened. According to the governor of Florida, they had stopped all inmate transportation. And, I'm sure all of you guys saw this, inmates can't be transported from one jail to another, one prison to another. What happened was that they turned around and they started transporting them from other camps that had a whole bunch of prisoners that tested positive. Why they did this, I don't know. It wasn't very smart. Now you have a mess going on in institution over in Tampa area. And, is it okay if I call it out or, because it's the fact?
No, don't call the name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that institution in particular, and again, but this happened across the state of Florida, so I'm not going to say. So if you don't have guards, this is my thing, and this is my fight for their rights. If you don't have guards that tested positive in that area, and of course anybody at any given time could have because it's COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have inmates positive there. Why are you transporting inmates? Although they told you do not transport inmates, the system went ahead and did it anyways. So it makes me wonder, do you guys really want these inmates to die? Do you really want other inmates to contract it? What is it that you're trying to do? So it kind of reminds me of the way that, they said that United States, we would be okay, whatever. They were told pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing was wear a mask, so forth, so on. But again, what did you guys do to protect them? They don't let them go outside.
Mm-hmm.
And they've
Exactly.
now slowly started transitioning to letting some out at one time. So they take turns.
Mm-hmm.
But too little, too late. You know what I'm saying?
Let me go.
They've started now giving them one hot meal, and because you have to eat at least one hot meal a day, is my understanding, and sack lunches for
Good
the rest of the day.
Okay, hold on, Anna. Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
Let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? What do you say to this?
I don't really think they're trying to help prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're trying to help anybody for real. And I don't want to be wrong and make a wrong statement, but it's starting to look to me like the United States is the only one still dealing with this problem. And I'm sort of getting disgusted. It's sickening because it's starting to look sinister.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting college back up for college football season, if you ask me. There's too much risk involved, and I know the elite want to make their money. The industry got to keep moving. It's too much. They can't imagine passing up all those billions of dollars this year.
Mm-hmm.
Their stomach hurting them right now, so they had to make something happen. But I just feel like it's a plot. I look at these students. I'm looking at the high school students going to school now, and it makes my stomach hurt, man. I just don't feel good about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel good about it at all. I haven't heard too much of anything about 1%ers having COVID or dying from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of odd to me too. With it. Because I'm looking at the obituary every day, and it's triple compared to what is average around here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of it is not COVID, but COVID got enough part of this playing in it. So I'm just, I'm real, like I said, I'm disgusted, but at the same time, I'm sort of afraid because it's starting to look like we all may have to suffer with this thing one day. It's going to take its time on those that are not trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Now, going back to Sheila. Now, Sheila, I know how passionate you are and how the love that you have for people. So be careful. You be careful. We don't want to get you in no situation. But what's on your heart?
I'm sorry, I missed that. I walked away. I'm probably going to have to go in a minute. But what was the question again?
Okay, somebody, we got a background. Everybody mute your line because we got another conversation going on in the background. So if you don't mind, mute your line for me so we don't have that conversation. what I was saying, Sheila, is I know how passionate you are for people and how much you care for people. So I was just saying to about what we're talking about right now. We're gonna shift back to Black Friday in just a second. Be careful in your answer, and I don't want to get you I don't want to get you in no situation. But what's on your heart?
Oh, just, you know, wanting people to be mindful of the environment that we're in. You know, there's a lot going on. There's really true. I mean, there's a pandemic, you know, people are literally like worried about
Sheila, hold on for a second.
getting sick and dying.
Sheila, hold on. Somebody is talking in the background. Everybody mute your line. I'm hearing a conversation in the background. They're trying to talk low, but I can still hear it. So mute your line so we don't have that conversation going on over top of the person that's talking. I'm sorry, Sheila, go ahead.
That's okay. And I just wanted to remind people, you know, that there's so much going on in the country right now. And if you care about the direction of the country, then you will take the time out, even with everything that's going on, to make sure that everyone you know is voting in this upcoming election in the fall. And that's really the only thing that I'm like thinking about right now.
Exactly. Now, what I'm trying to figure out whose line that is. Come here and some. Can y'all hear it in the background?
I can hear it, but you might,
Yeah.
you know how
You know,
those things
we go through this.
stuff.
We can't never mute our
We go
line.
through that.
We know that's what we go through. I don't understand why, but yeah.
Yeah, it's something fancy going on, you know, so like somebody trying to sing or something in the background. But let me go back to you, Toya. Toya, what's on your heart, man? You know, there's a lot going on with this thing, man, and people on the outside that have the ability to go and to get the things that they need are having a hard time curbing this thing. So what are the inmates supposed to do? They don't have the access to a lot of the things that we have on the outside.
I don't know. You know, it's unfortunate because there are some in there that are, you know, they're over accused, falsely accused, man. And it's like when you enter that world, your life is in someone else's hands, man. So it's like, you know, that's why the Lord needed us to be up in there, let them know who he was so he can call on them, because that's about all you can really do in that situation until we change the people who believe in the standards and the values of human beings. When we call ourselves doing due process to crimes, you know, it just don't make no sense. I live this. I hate a drug dealer too, and hate is a strong word. You know, I get it, but I don't agree with 100 years for it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, I just think that, you know, until this new era of humans learn to have empathy again, and we change the system, it's like, you know, only thing we can do is pray for them, man. If we're not going to get out there and stand up on them being released. And, you know, it's levels to all of it, to every arena. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really deep, you know what I'm saying? With even having the freedom to send your child to school and sending them. You know what I'm saying? Like a prison don't have a choice, but we send them, and we send them because I gotta go to work. Because if I don't go to work, I don't get money. Like, I get it. It's levels to it. But the only is too much. I say this. I'm with the Lord. My God got me. And am I gonna have faith and believe in what he said? Either I'm gonna believe in that and hold on that, or be worried about all this what they got going on. And I can't. So I'm rolling with the Lord.
There you go.
I'm
there
protected.
You go.
I'm covered, and I send that. You know, I pray that for everybody around me, connected to me, don't know my name or not. That's how I roll. I focus on that, and then we handle everything else as it comes.
Exactly. We got someone from the 816 area code. 816 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Lisa. I'm calling from KCMO.
Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good deal. Lisa,
what's your question today?
Well, we this is Black Friday. We actually talk about business on Friday, but we kind of ventured off a little bit, and we're talking about the people that's incarcerated. Are they doing enough to try to make sure that they don't contact COVID, the Corona-19, what are they, 19 or whatever they call it? Are they doing enough in the prison to make sure that they don't catch that?
Okay, this is a really, really deep situation here. They're not going to do enough. people have to understand the reason why COVID is out here. COVID is a man-made disease.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually patent. Who you got? Bill Gates behind COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be the first trillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
His main goal is about population control. And until people realize that, nothing's going to change. They want to get rid of the young. First of all, they want to get rid of all the indigenous folks. I mean, people of color,
Mm-hmm.
because they are the white man is being basically their race is about to be extinct.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a rude awakening to them, and they realize this, and they're scared and they're terrified from that nobody's pure, but their so-called pure race is about to be extinct.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using COVID-19 as one of the key things because it's done due to people's DNA. That's why it attaches, and that's why you see that there's different waves. And the people that are in the penitentiary they don't care. They don't care whether they get hurt. It used to be when first COVID came out, anything above 80 degrees, that's why different waves of it keeps coming out and it keeps changing.
Mm-hmm.
And the people are not understanding that.
Okay.
And I don't know how they're getting it completely. It ain't spreaded like it's spreaded by people. But I believe this has something to do with going to get tested.
Mm.
I really do. Because of the different waves. And, you know, a lot of people don't like Trump, but Trump don't say it like it is. He gonna tell it.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump did say. And then you have Bill Gates and Fauci is right there behind each other. Bill Gates don't have not one degree in medical. Why is he trying to make sure that everybody gets vaccinated?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's deeper than this. It's about control and population control. And once they try to control us, these particles that are out here in there that are being spreaded are nanobites.
Mm-hmm.
And they're being placed, and you know that's the key factor. And so once it gets spreaded, I believe that it's you know, a lot of people don't understand how it changes up.
Mm-hmm.
The 5G.
Exactly. Hold on, Lisa. I want to pull some more people into the conversation. Don't hang up. I got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up? This is Xavier, my friend. How we doing?
Xavier, what's going on, sir? How you doing?
Good morning, Xavier.
Good deal. Good.
Good morning, family.
Xavier, we're asking a question, man. Do you think, this is Black Friday and we're definitely talking about business today, but I have another question as well. Do you think the prison institution, do you think they're doing enough to curb the possibility of the inmates contracting COVID-19?
That's an interesting question. So it's the prison population is out of everybody that should have been more protected, it should have been them because they were in prison,
mm-hmm.
right? So they weren't out and about.
Mm-hmm.
They have attempted, they've let some folks go. They're doing what they can. The unfortunate thing is the way prisons are designed. It's not designed for 6 feet,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's not designed for that. And so I don't know how much more they can do other than give inmates masks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or keep them on lockdown. You can keep them on lockdown 24 hours a day or 23 hours a day. We're going to say it's inhumane treatment,
mm-hmm.
right? So we just, it's an unfortunate situation that we're in, but if you're in prison, it's you don't have a whole lot of options,
mm-hmm.
right? So you're and too many things come into play there. Is that prison population, are they overcrowded? And I've read some reports where, like I said, nonviolent crimes, those that are coming up for parole, they shorten the stay for folks that are, coming up within the next 6 months. They shorten them and release them a little earlier than they needed to. but there's always another side, right? So I read a story. A young man was released because of COVID, released early, and was arrested a month and a half later because he went right back out there and I don't know if it was robbing somebody or stole a car, right? But we're right back in the same situation. And these are the things that we gotta be mindful of, right? Like we can't, we can sit there and talk conspiracy theory of what they're trying to do to Black folks and all that. I mean, we can do that. Here's the reality, and this is what I've told my son: you're a Black man in America. 9 out of 10 times, you're gonna get pulled over because you're Black, right? But you're not going to jail because you're Black. There's no law that says I can't be Black. But there is a law that says I can't have weed in the car. There's a law that says I can't drive a stolen car, right? So we have to take accountability to know that there are systematic systems in place.
Xavier, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question real quick. Let me ask you this question. And hold on for a second. I want to ask this question. You say that they're gonna pull you over 9 times out of 10. They're gonna pull you over because you're Black, but they're not going to send you to jail because you're Black. But my thing is, if they're pulling you over because
you're gonna get arrested.
Okay, you're not going to get arrested because you're Black.
Get arrested because you're Black.
But my thing is, a part of the whole arrest process starts with them pulling you over. And if they leave you alone and don't pull you over simply because if they don't have a reason to pull you over, leave you alone, don't pull you over simply because of the fact that you're Black, because that starts the whole arrest process.
Yeah, but you're talking about what it should be. They can pull you over if your driver's license is legit. If you have insurance on your vehicle, if you have a firearm, you're a licensed firearm holder, or you are obeying those laws. There's no reason. What you gonna put on the ticket? You Black?
But see, my thing is, yes. Okay, I want to go to Rico. Go. Hold on.
We got a reason as to why, but there's really not.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull somebody else in, Xavier. Go ahead, Curtis, and Rico coming to you next.
Zay, do you know who? I can't say the boy's name. He married to Carol Washington, football player. Do you know who he is?
Okay, hold on. We got some background. Everybody, we got some background noise coming from somebody line. Whose line is that with that background hissing sound? It's a real bad hiss. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Curtis.
Okay. I can't pronounce his name. I don't want to mangle his name. I say Nuawami or something like that.
He was married.
Carol Washington.
Yeah, okay.
That's Carol Washington. Before he ever was famous, man. In LA, man, there's a whole bunch of boys out there that got arrested solely because they Black. He was one of them. They pulled him over because he was driving a nice car. Well, he had a family. He had a mom and daddy who had good jobs. He had borrowed his mother's car. She was an entrepreneur. He borrowed her car. She gave him permission to drive the car. The police pulled him over and said, "What are you doing with this car?" He said, "Excuse me." He said, "I'm driving home." The police said, "This car is too nice for you to be driving. It must be stolen." He said, "No, sir, it's my mother's car." When they ran the paperwork, the car came back to the business that he told them. They still locked him up. Bro, don't fall.
Yeah, I can't speak on that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I can't speak on that. I don't know the facts of the case.
Hold on, Xavier. Hold on, Xavier. Let him finish.
Here with some story.
Xavier.
Come on, man.
Xavier, let him finish. Xavier. Go ahead, Kurt.
My thought. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying, hey, look, take a real good and careful look at the documentation before we start making statements, because people will take what you're saying. There's an ignorant culture of people who wish nothing but the demoralization of you as a man. They will take what you're saying and they will turn around and say, you see how they think? That's why you can do what you do. So check this out, bro. Listen now. You said basically you don't get arrested if you're following the laws, this, that, and the third. I'll give you another name, Fernando Castillo. He told the police, "I am a licensed carrier. I have a firearm, officer. My paperwork is in my back pocket, officer. He asked the police, do you want me to get it or do you want me to lean up so that you can get it? The officer says, gun, 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 and fires and kill that boy in that car in front of his daughter and his girlfriend. He was following the law. Now, I have been, me personally, in the state of Colorado, where they have what is called the gunslinger law. The law is, as long as your gun is set in plain view of the officer, when the officer approaches your car, it is legal for you to carry. You don't even have to have a carry permit. It is legal for you, it used to be legal for you to have a firearm in the state of Colorado as long as it was visible. I have had police pull me over solely because of my car and the fact that I was black and didn't have a problem telling me that's why they pulled me over. And then noticed that I had the firearm and wanted to arrest me for the firearm. Luckily, I had some people that I could get on the phone and say, hey, look, they got me on the side of the road. They trying to lock me up for my gun. Yeah, it's loaded. It's sitting on the front seat where it is. It's supposed to be in plain view. They can see it and everything. So, brother, listen, I get what you're saying. And part of that, you're right. For the person who is purposely violating the law, yeah, if you're violating the law and it's the law of the land, by all means, you know what? You need to go sit down for a while. But for people like yourself who are true citizens who try their best to abide by the law, we're not going to throw that baby out with the bathwater. Every barrel of apples has a bad apple in it. I ain't never bought a barrel of apples that every single apple in the barrel was good. There's always a rotten one somewhere. The problem is, and I'll end with this, the problem is that they have made our rotten apples seem like it's more than theirs, when the statistics do not show that. There was a study done out of Michigan State.
Wrap it up for me, Curtis.
There was a boy from Michigan. I'm going to wrap it up, Raheem. There was a boy from Michigan State. There was a man from Ohio State. This is why, well, from University of Michigan. And there was a man from Ohio State. This is why the study caught flame, because you had University of Michigan and you had Ohio State come together to do a study. There was a girl from the U, from Miami. They did a study on criminal behavior between blacks and whites, black males and black and white males. And what they found was, above all the crimes, drug crimes, hate crimes, assault crimes, I forget what they call it, but assault crimes, things of that nature, things with an aggravation or I'm trying to speak fast, so I can't really put it all out there. But anyway, what they found was more white males committed offenses like drug possession, attempted distribute, possession of a controlled substance, conspiracy to sell a controlled substance, murder, rape, criminal domestic violence, all of these things. More white males broke that law, but more black males were being sentenced.
Mm-hmm.
So the black males were breaking the law at a lower rate, but was being sentenced at a higher rate. So, bro, I can't let you just say that, because somebody is listening to you and they're saying, you see, son, that's how them N-words, that came from one of them. So I can't allow you to throw that out there, bro. And I love you. I swear, I love you like a fat kid love cake.
Get that. Let me go
but
to
just because you said that doesn't make the statement incorrect. So I hear you, but you gave us an example of black men that have crimes, that have committed crimes, and white men that have committed crimes. That's a known statistic. We know more black men are sentenced more severely than whites. We know that. But if I'm going to give my son the best opportunity to come back home tonight, Get out there and obey the law, son. There is no guarantee. But if you want the best chance at coming home, obey the law.
The best chance of coming home
Wow.
is knowing the law, brother. The best chance of coming home is knowing the law. Knowing the law.
That's right, which means obey it.
Right?
Knowing and obeying is two different things. Come on, man.
So yeah,
on, bro.
hold on. Let me ask you. So basically, and I'm trying to get. I want to bring Rico into this conversation as well. And we got a lot of people on the phone lines. I definitely want to have them included too. But my thing is this right here: knowing the law and doing the law is two different things. So am I hearing you say that we're breaking the law more, or we? I'm trying to connect the dots here. So what exactly are you saying, Xavier? Help me understand what you're saying. Knowing the law and breaking the law is two. Go ahead.
Yeah. Knowing the law and obeying the law are two different things.
So are we breaking the law? Are we breaking the law?
Yes, we break the law. Come on now.
More than anybody else. More than anybody else. More than anybody else.
Nope. We don't break the law more than anybody else.
So I think Curtis's point is we're being victimized more than anybody else. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the incarceration rate, we're being victimized more than anybody else. So I think that's where our issue is right now.
No, but that's not what we're discussing. My statement was, what I tell my sons is that if you will get pulled over in America if you're black.
Mm-hmm.
Obey the law, and you have the best chance of coming home. Because there is no law against being black.
But they make it one every day, brother. They make it one every day. You're right. As far as written down in the books in black and white, there's no law. But when they do the things that they do, they make it one every day when they pull us over with no cause.
Right.
They make it one. They make it one.
With that.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear all of your points.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with purpose. I get it. But I can't control those things.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can control is what I give my son. I can't. You're absolutely right. There is a bad apple in every barrel. Absolutely. I can't do nothing with that. But the one that looks at me and calls me dad and trusts the words that come out of my mouth, I can't tell him when the police officer pull you over, start acting like a butthole.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do nothing. I can't do that.
But
what I say
I'm good.
Have your license between your fingers. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Be respectful to the officer.
But see
obey the law.
My thing, Xavier. Let me say this. Let me say this to you, Xavier. And I understand what you're saying. And you're right. You want to give your son the best opportunity to make it back home because you love your son. You want to make sure he come home. I can understand it, and I applaud and I agree with you on that. But my thing is, I've seen situations myself. Where people that don't look like us are pulled over by the police and they do all kind of things. I seen one incident where the guy beat the police up with the police's stick, jumped in their car and drove off. Had he been took off. Yeah. Absolutely. And so my thing, my thing is, listen to me, Xavier. My thing is this right here. If we're gonna stand on what you said, do what you need to do, and don't break the law and do, why wasn't this Caucasian brother, why wasn't he treated the same way that we be treated when we do so much less?
This is America, brother. And if we want those things to change, we have to get in these offices, city council, mayorships, commissioners. We have to hire police chiefs that think like we do, that will train their people, that will understand what the bigger problems are. What we can't change, though, or what we won't do, how we won't change it, is doing this. We have to mobilize. I'm not going to go convince Donald Trump that there's a problem with police officers shooting black men. He does not believe it. So I'm crazy to stand out there and try to convince him otherwise. What do? Throw somebody in who believes like I do, who sees what I see. But what I can't do is arm my children with the mindset that you're a target when you walk out the door. I'm not trying to raise kids that are afraid of police. No, but I want you to be honorable and respectful and obey the law. Because just like all of us on the call, we have family members that are sitting in prison or have been there, but you weren't there because you were black. You may have been sentenced harshly because you were black. And that is wrong. But we gotta stop the foolishness in our own communities. We have to. We can't just say they sentence a black man double the time they sentence a white man.
But they do.
Okay,
but they do.
now.
Exactly.
What about stop doing the doggone crimes?
Okay. My thing is this right here. I don't mind.
Have you ever seen that?
Hold on, Curtis. Hold on, Curtis. I don't mind if a person mistreats me. I don't mind, and people say I'm crazy when I say this, but I don't mind when a person mistreats me. I don't mind that, as long as you're mistreating everybody equally. As long as you're mistreating everybody equally, I don't mind. But don't mistreat me and treat me in a certain way, and then treat them like they walk on water when we've done the same thing. I don't mind. Rico, what's on your heart?
I think we done got drafted into a dog eat dog world, and the farther down the ladder you go, the more the greed is. The more I'm gonna say the prize is between the dogs. But I think Xavier, I don't know, he may have tried to clear it up a little bit when he said that you don't go to jail because you're black. But if he still feels that way, I don't believe that's true. Now, I put it to you this way. I might not, because I'm a victim of this myself twice. I really should have went to prison based off of 2 false charges. So I'm going to say this. If I didn't go to jail because I was black, I sure didn't go because I was guilty. And now I look at Just Mercy. That movie just came out last year with Jamie Foxx. That man was minding his business and accused of a crime he didn't do, and like they got the death penalty. My situation, I looked at prison time, and I obeyed the law. Not only did I obey the law, I called the law for help. The lie got switched around on me. They didn't want to hear my words and lock me up without any kind of evidence. Just want to make me part of the system. You know, I'm just, like what Curtis said a second ago. It's a system. It's a business. It's a business to the point of, well, if you are innocent, but they convict you, it's harder for you to prove that you are innocent. Why? Why should an innocent man go through so much trouble to prove that he isn't guilty? Why they got the system set up like that for an innocent man to get caught in that trap and then catch all kind of HELL to get out and probably not get out? It's a system, and most of that is pointed towards us. So they might not be putting us in jail because we're black, but it got to be something else if we aren't guilty. So you tell me what it is. I'm looking at the math of it. I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm looking at Edward Steiny. Edward Steiny was 13 years old when he was electrocuted for a crime he didn't do. That wasn't because he was tall. It wasn't because he could fly like a bird, and it wasn't because he actually killed somebody. It was because he was a good scapegoat, and he was a little black boy that they could take their vengeance out on. I'm reading a book now called Without Sanctuary. All them people lynched and burned up in pits and had their babies cut out their guts. That was done to them because they were black. And a lot of this stuff is going on now. We could play this as 2020 and look at people that say stuff about conspiracies all day long. Some of us don't want to admit that race is a big problem in business, prison, health, all that. But it would be a big mistake for me to teach my son that if he obeys the law, that everything is going to go good. And I already got history documented that that's not true. I got that documented myself. I avoided prison, had to fire my attorneys on the spot and defend myself in court because they was ready to change and tie me up in that system to get somebody some more convictions so they could go move up the ladder to state attorney general or something. So it is a color thing. When I went to jail the last time, I didn't know what was going on. I called the police. I couldn't believe this. I called them twice. It took them 45 minutes to get there in Jacksonville, Florida. There's so many police down there, it should have took them 5 minutes. I'm seeing them pass by me, and they ain't showed up yet. Then they finally show up, and then I have to walk them back to where the situation happened. When they go and ask what happened, they flip it around on me, put me in jail without me even asking questions. Then after I finally get to the police department, he tell me, you know what? I think you were set up. After he done cussed me like a dog. Then I get in jail and I start talking to all these people that's locked up for the same thing, and I find out it's a program going on through this. I ain't gonna mention the company tonight. Well, I'm gonna mention it called the Hubbard House down there in Jacksonville, Florida. And what it is if a woman felt like she was in danger, had been domestically abused or anything like that, they would give her $1,500 to $2,500 to relocate. Imagine greedy, sinister, low working women that want to move away from an apartment they want to live in, knowing that money is available. All they got to do is show up to court. They got to move, but they got to show up to court to get that money. And I was laughed at a year later when I found out that I was a victim of it. When somebody tell me, yeah, I got that Hubbard House money. I wasn't guilty. I was the victim. So I mean, to obey the law, that's a lie as a black man. I mean, I hate to say it like that, Xavier, because you drop dimes, but that one can't fly. We can't tell our young men just to obey the law. We can tell them to obey the law, but we could keep them mindful.
You were black. You didn't go to jail. You went to jail for somebody lied.
Right. So that's why you have to keep them mindful. You obey the law, but you still have to be mindful that you may end up in a situation. So you got to prepare yourself even beyond that. It's deeper than obeying the law. You got to play chess as a black man.
I agree.
Okay. Let me do this. Let me go. I want to pour my ladies in here. Toya, what's on your heart?
Absolutely. Me and Anna in the background here talking because, there's different perspectives. Listen, I was a person who I committed a crime. I got in trouble. It was a felony. I went to beat somebody up in the mall. Why? Because he beat me. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Things happen. We do things. And whether we're right or wrong, whether we're justified, whether we're broke law, follow it. If anybody doesn't understand the value of a human being, for whoever you are, if you think that the value of a criminal's life means that if they don't listen, they get to be killed. If they committed a crime and a crime of passion, because I'm getting ready to raise something up at this guy, I get shot and no other, you know what I'm saying? That's their first line of defense. I mean, no. We can't do that as humans. We cannot take away the value of a human life because they're criminal either and say, well, they shouldn't have been saying that they had a right to do this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. That's giving the police a power. No, let me tell you something. These cops is human. They speed, but they want to pull us over for speeding. And then when we want to ask them or do what we have the right to do as a human being, we're challenged. No, it's like that because they make it seem like we are a threat. They train them that we are a threat. They train to kill on instinct. And that's not right. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about when your son, child, nephew get hard-headed and don't do all the right things and get caught up with somebody else, that they come in guns blazing because they felt it was a criminal. And that's not right. No, you have a protocol to follow. You read them their Miranda rights. If they don't have no real threat or trying to do an imminent threat up on you, trying to kill you, you arrest them, subdue them as much as possible. If you got to chase them, I thought that's what you ran for. You chase them. If you got to fight them and wrestle them, I thought y'all did exercises for you to be able to do that. And if they pull out a gun and try to shoot you, then you shoot them. Any case other than them pulling out a gun and trying to shoot you, less than that, I thought that's what you get paid and trained to do. And you need to be doing that. Not taking it to your own recognizance and say, well, they're a crackhead, so what you thought. No. And if any human being, any parent, feel like it's okay to justify another somebody because you train your child to do this, that, and the third, and if anybody else's child don't do what your child did, then that's what they deserve. You just as bad as the police. And that's the problem. So collectively, we need to be real honest about what's going on and understand that as individual human beings, we don't have that right, and allow the court of law that we set up to be the court of law, and stop making these excuses and justifying all the way down to pedophiles.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let me go to Anna. Anna, what's on your heart?
I tell you, excellent point. There's been some very valid points here from everybody. I've been closely listening. Curtis, you're very passionate about what you're saying. Rico, you as well. I think that when Xavier was saying what he was saying, and I may be wrong, I don't know, but this is what I understood. When he was saying what he was saying, it seems to me as if he was saying it, meaning at least make sure you're covered, and it'll give them less of a reason. At least make sure you're doing what you have to do, and it'll give him less of a reason. I think maybe he when he said something, it was probably, or it came out the wrong way. It happened to all of us. It's happened to me how many times, you know? So I don't think what he's saying is anything negative. Pretty much he's saying, okay, so if you have your driver's license, a legal driver's license, you have legal insurance, and you have valid driver's license, legal insurance, and you have your car registered, we should not have a reason for them to pull you over in the first place.
But see,
However,
how does the police, Anna, how do the police know that your license and your registration, how do they know all that stuff is right or wrong if they don't pull you over? And the reason that they're pulling you over is because you're black. And so,
that's what I was going into, that I've been targeted myself.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's a slippery slope right there, because had you not pulled me over, you wouldn't know whether my insurance, my license, my insurance, my registration, you wouldn't know all that thing. So why did you pull me over? You can't pull me. You can't just look at my car and tell, well, that car, his license ain't right or his registration is not. You know, you can't unless you run the tag. And now why are you running my tags? Are you running every car that go by? Are you running all the tags that you have an opportunity to do? Or are you doing it just because of the fact that you see a black man in this car and okay, now let me target him? That is wrong.
Okay, and I agree with you. That is wrong. And I agree with you, you know, that wholeheartedly 200%. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have friends who actually work law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And they've actually told me, you know, because of the car or whatever, or I needed to make sure, you know, numbers were hit, whatever the case may be, whatever your boss asked you for, okay? They needed to just pull somebody over. That happens too. Not saying it doesn't happen. I don't think for 1 second Xavier said this does not happen. I didn't hear that at all. What I did hear was on your side, if you're legit. Now, if you're a Castillo, right, and you get shot for no reason, that is a tragedy, right? So then that's where you got these Black Lives Matter movement.
I'm still not getting. I'm still, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm still not getting my question answered. I've thrown this question out a couple of times, and still hadn't been answered. How does an individual know that all these things are not lined up properly if they don't pull me over? And why are they pulling me over anyway? What is the reason for you to pull me over? If you don't know that my license is not right, if you don't know that my registration is not right, if you don't know that I don't have insurance, how do you know all these things unless you pull me over? Now, are you pulling me over just because of the fact that you got this thing about you got this superpower that you could just look at the car and tell, oh, that's not right? Or are you pulling me over because I'm black? Why are you pulling me over? What is the initial reason why you're pulling me over? That's all I want to understand. What is the initial reason why you're pulling me over?
Okay, well, see, that's what I'm trying to answer. The friends that I have, a lot of times, they'll run that tag before they pull the person over. And then they'll give you another reason why they're pulling you over. Oh, I saw you didn't have your seatbelt on. Oh, sir, I had my seatbelt on. I've seen it happen over and over again. Oh, sir, I had my seatbelt on. They already know they got that charge. And then if they pull up and they're smelling marijuana in the car, and I'm talking about the 90s, 2000s, they're smelling marijuana in the car, what do you think is going to happen next? You know? So with that being said, a lot of times it's what their boss is asking of them, or whatever reason they're having a problem, or they're just having a bad day. There's nothing to say that. But if they run my tag and everything's legit, chances are less I'm going to get pulled over. I understand where Xavier is coming from that aspect.
Okay, cool.
I totally get it.
Okay, I gotta keep it moving. Let me go to Rico. I saw you waving, brother. You got something on your heart. Now I'm gonna go to Lisa after you. What's on your heart, Rico?
I just tried to share the video in the group. I hope it pulls up. But yesterday, the comedian Michael Collier put up a video of him in Philadelphia being harassed by policemen.
Everybody mute your line. Mute your line, everybody. Got some background noise coming. There you go. Go ahead, Rico.
He had a cigar in his hand walking through a park, you know, in Philadelphia. He's getting ready to do a show that night, so he's just out there touring or whatever. So he got the cigar in his hand. And also, an autistic Latino or Hispanic man had a cigarette, and they were both getting written up for tickets. So Michael was asking the policeman, man, look, you know, I don't see the signs, and, you know, y'all gonna write me a ticket. I didn't even have the cigar lit. I just had it in my hand. So then a white man comes through with the cigar. walks right in front of both of the cops writing the tickets, and Mike on video recording them the whole time. It was the universe that had this man walk through, recorded this man, and then other people telling these cops, look at this white man. He's smoking a cigar. He's smoking a cigar. And you hear the cop say, I can't look right now. I'm writing a ticket. Plain and simple, on camera. I just put it in the group. So, I mean, you know, like I said, we have to be mindful if that was a mistake or just a slip or just, you know, it was incomplete. We have to be mindful as the people that are going through this and seeing this, that we don't go back out there and put that message that if you don't break the law, you won't go to jail. That's not true. That's not true. That sounds like something that Trump would say. That sounds like something a conservative would say. That sounds like something a DA would say. But that doesn't sound like something that one of us would say, that know that we have friends and family members that have been pulled over just because. And they had to, I mean, I've seen cops throw crack on the ground to try to pin charges on me and my friends. On behalf of a cop from another jurisdiction that I had problems with. Now, this cop is the chief of police in this other city. But I remember this one night 30 years ago that he got mad because I disrespected him. And he came to the city, before he left the city that I'm in now, went to the police department, had them come back where we were, and they put dope on the ground. We just happened to see it when they did it. That wasn't because we were guilty.
Exactly. Lisa, what's on your heart?
Well, first of all, we all need to wake up. And a lot of us are not understanding that we've been a target since day one. And until we realize that, until we come into unite, they have used these laws to separate us since slavery. And they still separate us. That Willie Lynch is a bad man. Them Willie Lynch laws is a bad man. I think I'm better because I'm more educated and I can teach this and I can teach that. But the true reality of it is police officers came from slave patrol. If you don't know your history, you're not going to know what's going on in the future. Because history repeats itself. Ain't nothing changed. It's just getting recorded. They've been doing this. There ain't no conspiracy theories. None, not whatsoever. It's just that we're being attacked on every different level. Because of our melon. And who we are. They have been afraid of our melon for years. I need people to realize and understand that. Our melon separates us. Our rules and our regulations have not changed, regardless. I don't care how well we obey the laws. Did y'all just not see the fact that Breonna Taylor was killed in her own home? Yeah, did you not Sandra Bland obeyed every law that she had and still was killed? That nonsense mentality needs to go. And there's more that, and I'm not just picking on you, sir. I don't remember your name, but it's more that you can do out here. Go to those police commissioner meetings. Go to those safety meetings that you're having in your city. This is what we need to do as a group. And you see the police officers right here today, that we know that they are continuing to do vile things to our people. Get them out. There are forms that you can have signed as churches. That's why I'm so upset with some of these churches, because they're not doing what they need to do in our community. They stand behind the pulpit, and that's it. Whereas if you know there's a bad officer around there, you can stop, at least tell
his license to be removed as a group. I can go around trying to train these people what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Okay. Yeah.
It's one of the worst things out here
Mm-hmm.
that are against blacks. Or shall I say minorities? Because it ain't just happening to blacks, they happen in the Spanish, Mexicans, it's happening to several other groups of people. But right now we have been like number one out here.
Okay. Let me do this. And we got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Xavier, what's on your heart? We got another caller. We're gonna go to the call as well. Xavier, what's on your heart?
Okay, and I appreciate everybody. I really do. It doesn't change my stance. I understand your passion. I get it. I'm a black man, been one all my life. My personal lessons to my children, because I don't know what you guys are teaching your kids. And I'm telling you what I taught mine, because I want them to come back home. You never once heard me say that there wasn't a disparity between how the systematic oppression of law enforcement towards African Americans. That's something that I preach. You can go to my personal Facebook page and see any video of me ripping police, ripping everything that you guys were talking about is absolutely fact and it's there. But what I've decided as an African American man, I've refused to be a victim any longer, because the victim mentality gave me anger, and the anger changed how I operated, because I am a saved man. And so it's hard for me to be kind if I continue to walk with that stuff. So in order for me to show the kindness that I desire to show to each and every person, I have to wake up each and every morning and teach my children, obey the laws of the land. I have to. I can't tell them to not trust anybody, because that's not what my faith says. And so at some point, guys, and like I said, I'm not looking for you guys to agree with me at all. I just gave what I teach, and I pray that what I teach my children will send them back home to me. That's my prayer. But I know where I live.
Okay.
I know what country I'm in. I've been a black man all my life.
Okay,
so
let me
I appreciate everyone's passion.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
don't take my words and fly in the left field with them. That's not. I've never said the stuff that you guys have insinuated today is not. I didn't say any of that.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. I'm gonna go down. I think we have Minister Neal with us. I want to come to him next. Who's to say, or what if someone was to say to you, Xavier, that George Floyd was a saved man, Trayvon Martin was a saved young man, and the list goes. Sandra Bland was a saved young lady, but still, there was a way that they became murdered by the hands of
Listen, sin is sin, bro. When people can be treated like they were treated, those were individuals that did not have God in their hearts, period. In order to do what was done to each person you named, that is fact. It just God wasn't in me. But does that change? Does it change our faith? Does it change? Right? Because we could easily, and I don't want to lessen what happened to any of those individuals. But if we look at the text, right? He said, for those that will live godly in Christ Jesus will suffer persecution. I don't want to be a victim to any of it. I don't want my loved ones. I don't want anyone listening, any of the listeners, to be victims to any of it. It happens. Sin happens. Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's happening more to us, more grotesquely than any other race that's out there in America, right? But it doesn't change the walk. It can't change what we believe. And it definitely can't change how we choose to treat those that don't look like us. Because if we're treating them differently, if there's an anger, if there's something differently, only because they're a different race than us, then are we no better than they are?
Minister Neal, what's on your good morning, sir? How you doing this morning?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Hey, doing good, sir. Doing good. What's on your heart?
Good morning, Minister.
Hi, how is everybody?
Good.
Good deal. Good. What's on your heart, brother?
I'm trying to catch up with the conversation. I kind of came in Rico's statement, and then Jim's said stuff, and then the brother just spoke, so I'm still trying to catch up to what was actually said. So I'm kind of listening right now. So
okay, Xavier, give it a just the quick version. We got a few more minutes. I want to touch a few more people of what you said and what your stance is.
You said repeat what my stance is?
Yes. How we got here?
Yes. How we got here is I made a statement earlier about what I tell my sons. And I tell my sons as you're out in America, you're going to get pulled over because you're black. There's a great chance that will happen, but you won't go to jail because you're black. There's no law that says you can't be black, but there is a law against weed, against committing crimes. And that has exploded into.
And
I'm passing it off.
Okay. And my thing was, and what I said, and what a lot of people are saying is that give me the reason why I'm being pulled over, because if you're pulling me over simply because I'm black, then that is the first step towards me actually being arrested because you pulled me over. Why did you pull me over? If you had no reason to pull me over, leave me alone. Let me go on my way. Just like you let everybody else go on their way. And so if you're pulling me over simply because I'm black, you're starting the process of me being arrested. What do you say to that? Everybody mute your line. I got some background noise. Everybody mute your line. I got some background noise going on. I want to make sure everybody can hear what's being said. Everybody that's not talking, mute your line for me. Go ahead, Mr. Neal.
First, good morning to everyone, and God bless you. But let me say this. I understand my dear brother's concerns. I understand that he has every right to teach his sons to make it home, as I heard you say earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand something with this when it comes to this law and how this law.
Hey, Ricky, are you talking directly into your phone, brother? Are you talking directly into your phone or your Bluetooth? If you're on your Bluetooth, take it out. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
What you have to understand is that we have traditionally, America has treated the black man as a second-class citizen. So this is nothing new. So us teaching our children to survive is what it comes down to. When you're saying, like, I want to make sure my children make it home, listen to the tone and listen to what you're saying. So that's another thing that I tell a lot of parents. I said, you're telling them that you already know that it's dangerous out here if they go to the corner store. Now, I'll give you a prime example. When I was about 15 years old, I'm from Jacksonville, and matter of fact, Raheem and I was talking about this, and it was talking about defunding the police.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, well, it's funny that now they want to defund the police when they had a task force that literally sat a couple corners away from the park in which I played basketball at. And they knew that we didn't have an ID. They actually would take us and lock us up because we didn't have an ID, because in the state of Florida, if you don't have an ID, they can hold you for 72 hours. Because during the time I was growing up, they had what you call a stop and frisk. And what happens was that they was locking us up. When they got that paddy wagon filled up, they would leave. Now here it is, you got people that are being locked up for no reason whatsoever. So this is not something that just popped up and all of a sudden became to be a phenomenon. This is something that's been happening for years. Traditionally, the judicial system has been set up where that's what they have done. So if we sit back and actually be honest with ourselves and say to ourselves that, hey, we need to step back and say, are we really teaching ourselves? We've got to first understand. That's why I don't get into and hooked up in let's have a dialogue and I didn't know. Yes, you do know. You do. I know you know. Because it's too many times that I know was times where they would actually have the police would have the newscasters and all the down. I mean, they were paraders, and a lot of those kids was innocent, hadn't committed no crimes, but went to go play basketball. So sometimes it's not about do you like this person? You like that person? It's about the trust. And for me, I don't care who's in that blue suit. I don't trust none of them because I've seen where they have jumped out on us and beat us up, especially when it comes to the black cops. They're just as worse as the white cops. And I tell people that all the time, and my cliche is always, the other races get handcuffs, black men get coffins, period. There's no other way around it. You can do the statistics or however y'all want to go about it, but it's just the truth. We have to step back and start looking at these young brothers and start explaining to them, say, hey, you are being hunted. We have to really be truthful. We can sugarcoat it. Well, sometimes we have to be truthful and say, hey, we're being hunted. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening. When you can sit back and you can actually set a paddy wagon of 3 or 4 blocks up and you knowing that all we were doing was down there playing basketball. And I'm telling you, because I've seen them come down and say, hey, man, don't go that way because they're down there waiting on y'all. You know how many times parents have had to come outside and walk us home because the police are there to harass us? And they know we're not doing anything. Mm-hmm. This is way back 80, 88, 89. I'm not talking about 2020. I'm talking about 89. That's why I'm telling you this is crazy. This is insane that we're still having the same conversation. So that's telling you this is systematic, and it's something that they have directed and they have targeted black men. So we can sit here, we can talk this. Oh, I tell them to do this. You can tell them whatever you want to tell them. When we're at the mercy of those police officers every time they pull us over. Period. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I've had my collar on. Man had pulled me out the car. My collar. My clergy collar. Mm-hmm. Pull me out. Where you coming from? I was coming from a revival. Do you have anything illegal in your car? I'm like, no. Do you mind if we check? Sure. I gave him discretion because I know I didn't have anything. Mm-hmm. I know I just came from, because I was in the pulpit. Wow. I didn't care. I was just that confident. And he looked at my car. He knew, and he asked me, he said, oh, you're a preacher? I was like, yeah. So don't tell. That's why I tell people, stop patronizing me and telling me it's going to be all right, but because it's not. It's not going to be all right till you actually get the devil off the police force. Period. That's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Donald Toussaint, you wanted to say something? Curtis, coming to you next.
Yeah. 2 things. One word. Picnic.
Say that, Donald.
Picnic.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody came up with that word. And it started from there. That's just it. But let me say something else. I refuse to live in fear. Or as a victim. I know it's out there. Mm-hmm. I grew up around it. Grew up in a little town called Opelousas. Look up Opelousas Massacre. Look it up. Mm. Just look it up. How they just decided to just set folks on fire. Mm. Just burn them up. So I grew up there. But I wasn't scared of the police. I was scared of my parents. But, I know it's out there. But I'm kind of like, everybody has a good balance. And I'm like, Xavier, I tell my children, don't be no fool. If they which they will, if they pull you over, do the best you can at having yourself in order. I myself got pulled over because I was a black man in a blue car, and that's what they was looking for. How many ever had a blue car? Mm-hmm. That could have been you.
Exactly.
So, hey, it's there. But, just pray every day. That's how. Mm-hmm. Today I'll make it home.
Praise God. Praise God. Curtis, what's on your heart? And Rico, coming to you next.
I get what the brothers are saying. I get what Xavier's saying, but I'm gonna expand on it. Xavier, you're telling your son to obey the law. You're telling your son to obey a law that the person who is deemed to carry out the law is not obeying. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I remember one time, man, whenever there's a critical situation going on, as a creative, God always placed something on my heart about that situation. And it's been so many killed that I can't even remember who was killed that God would place this on my heart. But God placed on my heart, man. I want to say it was Fernando Castillo. And God placed on my heart a poem. And I can't remember the whole poem, but I remember one part of that poem. It said something like, from the dawn of the dew that glazes on the ground, it meets the sun. But I pray because I have one son that won't run and one son who carries a gun. Can you understand what I was saying, or what God had placed in my heart? Is that when I pray, I gotta pray not only that I have that son that's willing to stand there like King, but I also have that son that's willing to speak up and stand there like Malcolm. Both were assassinated for speaking out against truth. Both were being handled and dealt with by forces that was not
Kurt, you there?
with his freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And they were both assassinated. So when I do talk to my sons, I have to tell my sons, obey the law, but know what the law is. And know when you're being violated. For example, that was a gross violation that they sent Pastor Neil did. Here's the main reason why. Because the law says that you have no right to search a person's personal property without a warrant signed by a judge. That's what the law says. It's nothing to have that person stand on the side of the road. And if it take your whole 8-hour shift, stand on the side of the road, you call into the precinct captain then calls into the judge or the magistrate that's assigned on a 24-hour rotation and get a warrant to search his vehicle. But what he did was he did that slicky woo-woo crap. Do you mind if I search your vehicle? Now, if Pastor Neil would have said, no, you're not going to search my vehicle, then it would have went to, oh, you're being disrespectful, or you're being a disgruntled citizen by not allowing for me to search your vehicle. Well, the truth is the law says that you got to have a warrant to search my vehicle. And I know my vehicle's clean. All I'm saying is when we're training our kids, it cannot be that finite that all you have to do is follow the law.
Mm-hmm.
Because the law that's being placed on them is not the law that it's not the same law that's being placed on others, like Raheem said. It's not half of the police force. If you all ever get a chance, before we all go to our resting place and God call us home, I think we all need to watch a documentary HBO did called The 75th. A lot of people don't know about the 75th. Why? Because they work to cover it up. But I'll go out on a school, y'all, on the 75th and the 76th precinct during the 70s and 80s was considered the most corrupt precincts in the United States of America. The whole entire 76th precinct, everybody, including the precinct captain, went to jail. The 75th, probably 85 to 90% of the precinct went to jail because they were doing the things that Neil just spoke about. Now, in our recent, and what is recent to us is not even 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was plastered all over the news. Judge sentenced to 26 years in a maximum security prison. That's why he was sentenced to 26 years. Because he was sending black juveniles to jail for nothing. He was over sentencing them. Some of them should have gotten probation, maybe a home monitor, and a large percentage of them should have actually received some form of programming. He sent them to jail for extensive amounts of years. I'm talking about giving out juvenile life. So if I catch a juvenile life charge and if I catch a juvenile life sentence and I'm 13, that means that I will not see the street until I'm 18, possibly 21.
Good deal. Good deal.
All right. So I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Wrap it up for me, Curtis.
But you gotta, okay, you got to, I get what the brother is saying. I'm just saying, don't shorten the paradigm. Throw the whole entire paradigm out there so that folks can understand and so that our kids can understand.
Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I agree with Kurt. I mean, we got to make sure that we pass down this knowledge completely that we say we try to pass down to our younger generation. We speak on this all the time about wisdom and what the younger generation knows and them being prepared. We can't prepare them incompletely or just halfway. You know, I mean, we got to put the full spectrum down of what they have to expect going into this world. Like with my sons, I know what I experienced. I pray that my sons don't have to go through what I went through, but I know 9 times out of 10 they will. I hope they can survive it like I did. I hope they don't get caught in a situation, some of the situations that I did, and don't survive them, go in a different direction. But I know it's out there. As a matter of fact, that same cop that I had that interaction with 30 years ago, like I said, he's the chief of police in the next city, the city that I graduated school from. And he's an upstanding cop. He's so upstanding right now that he's over the he's the president of the Chiefs of Police Association in Alabama. So when everything happened with George Floyd, they interviewed him in all the major news outlets, not our local, but major news outlets around Alabama, because he was a representative for the Chiefs of Police. And he's been standing on this thing that there's no such thing as racism. And when it comes to police, all you got to do is comply. And one of the black reporters asked him, well, what about George Floyd? He complied. And that man marched around. He marched around every answer you could give to still say that maybe sometimes cops are wrong. Maybe sometimes cops are prejudiced. Sometimes cops are just bad. He didn't want to admit that. It comes off as all cops are good. If you obey the law, all cops are good. If you comply, you ain't got nothing to worry about, because their word is honorable. They're human. They have feelings and personal opinions too, you know, so it's not that easy. We have to make sure we prepare these kids. You know, this same cop is going to have a higher political aspiration soon, but 30 years ago, he was ready to get us a dope show.
Exactly. Let me go to Lisa. Lisa, what's on your heart? Lisa, give us a quick word. I want to touch a few more people before we get out of here. Are you there? Toy, you talk to me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. He just touched on the 75th. The 75th is the real, and until we realize that the FOP is who he was talking about, the Fraternal Order of Police. It's not that you're teaching your kids. Yeah, the Fraternal Order of Police. They have been a group. Yeah, they're a group, and they have been trained to. That's why it's happening throughout the United States, and they have been trained to go up against us. And until we realize that, they're another form of the KKK who have been infiltrated. The police department has been infiltrated. It's in the CIA documents. It's all over. The FBI documents that the KKK has infiltrated the police department. And only the way
Sister, please throw that out there again. Please throw that out there again so that the listening public can hear it. Please.
So we can obey, we can do everything that we need to do. But until we unite and start coming up, we have to turn around our prosecutor. We have a prosecutor right here today in St. Louis, Missouri, and her name is Kim Gardner.
I'm appreciate that everybody looks her up. She's one Black sister that told police officers, I will no longer prosecute any of your cases that you bring back to me because they're not within the law.
Mm-hmm.
They know that they was doing foul stuff.
Okay.
And she's been targeted every day right here today from the police department. She just posted because I'm one of her Facebook friends. She just posted a hate letter because she came up on charges on a white couple.
Send me Lisa, inbox me her information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Hold on, Kurt. Hold on. We'll come back to you, Kurt. Go ahead, Lisa. I want Lisa to finish your thought before we move on.
So we got one right now that we're going out against, Amy McGowan. We just got through trying to get her out of office, out of Topeka, Kansas, for basically, and out of Missouri for fraudulently putting people in jail. These prosecutors are also a part of the problem. We're also going up against Jean Peters Baker here in Kansas City, Missouri. There's things that you can do to make sure that your community is safe. And until we start standing up, speaking out, this kumbaya is not about to work. Even Martin Luther King decided that at the end, that's why he was killed. Kumbaya is over, baby.
Mm-hmm. Let's keep this thing going.
Never worked.
Okay, hold on, Lisa. I want to keep this thing going. Minister Neal, what's on your heart? Xavier, coming to you next.
What?
Huh? Oh, hold on. Who? Oh, I'm sorry, Toya. Toya. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I heard something. I said, what was that just now? Toya, what's on your heart? Toya said, what? Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
You right here.
Yeah, I heard. I was like, what was that?
That little thing ready jump through the phone and beat you right there in the studio.
Look, I heard Kurt. I heard someone say, what? I heard someone say, what? I said, oh, wait, but what was that? Well, okay, go ahead, sis. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My bad. I normally keep my phone muted, but Lisa came back on, and I guess I never muted it. But my bad. Glad you heard me though. But no, look. So I understand. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because okay, I ain't got no kids. I got nephews, and I die for them the same. Whatever it is, it don't make no difference. It ain't got to be about my nephew. It could be your nephew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about it when it comes to right and wrong. And I think that what we need to understand is that this fight between good and evil. And if you are teaching your kids that, absolutely. Because if you're in the jungle, you're supposed to teach your kids how to survive against a lion.
Mm-hmm.
But yet and still, we need to also expose them to all aspects. You should never leave your child to be led to believe one thing, teaching them this rhetoric of, oh yeah, the police are always right, knowing that's not true. You got to teach them the whole thing so that way they won't get they self sideswiped and hoodwinked around the corner because we only wanted to teach them one side of this due process that we know normally plagues someone else. You know what I'm saying? And so when we do teach our kids these values, I get it. You go ahead and listen to what they got to do. Call me, and I'm on it because I'm coming to handle this, that, and the third. But we also must keep in mind that our kids need to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only thing that will set us free.
Mm-hmm.
And when we teach our kids the truth, when we teach them to obey, yeah, you can obey. But you need to know these laws and these codes and these this, that, the third to spit it on them. You ain't got to be resistant. But when you start talking about the law and the codes and the officials and what you know, it does something to the inside of human being.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to know it, when to use it and be thoroughly equipped when they go out here because it just is what it is. It's because you're teaching your kid the right thing. And I say this all the time. If the power in us is bigger than them, if your kid out there up against a demon and your kid doing the right thing and the demon not trying to do the right thing, we can still have ourselves in a faulty situation. So whatever you teaching them, make sure you have him calling on the Lord Jesus when the officer roll up on them to help whatever the situation may be, because it doesn't necessarily have to turn out the way we think it should just because of history. I mean, it just is what it is.
Good deal. I'm looking at the clock, man. It's straight up 10 o'clock right now, so we're ready to get out of here, man. There's a lot more that we could talk about on this topic. I'm gonna go around and touch everybody. 1 minute, y'all. At least 30 seconds to 1 minute. Minister Neil, what's on your heart? Mr. Neil, you there?
Hello?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I had to get off here. I just want to let everybody know, understand this, that the game that they're playing is, the rules have always been the same on the law books, but they're not the same when they come towards us. So just be careful and understand that, protect your kids. And then, like I said, my dear brother, continue to cover your kids the way that God is, leading you to. And I commend you for being a father that's actually active in their lives. So once again, thank everybody. Hey man, I gotta go to the doctor today, so y'all pray for me because I gotta go and see what's going on.
Absolutely. Hey, keep me posted, brother. You know I'm here if you need me, man.
I will.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I'll shoot you a text once I get out of there, bro.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Y'all be safe.
You
God
too.
bless you.
God bless you.
All right.
Anna, you there? Anna, are you there? Lisa, 1 minute, 30 seconds to a minute. What's on your heart? Lisa? Toya with the T.
I'm here.
Okay, Lisa, go.
Basically, is that start reading, start looking up, start learning, start finding out who is in your area who's doing the right thing. Start supporting. Stop supporting Republican. Stop voting just Democrat all the way down. Okay. Start looking to see who's doing what they're supposed to be doing in your community. Stop just voting the whole Democratic ballot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's one of the key things. You got to look at that. You got to start putting the right people in that's going to start making a change within your community.
Good deal.
We have changed, and we did a ballot here in Kansas City. It's called We the People. We did our own.
Mm-hmm.
And we took some people that we know that's going to do what they need to do. That's out here and holding our mayor, holding our people accountable. That's what I say.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Toya with the T.
Absolutely. Great conversation today, man. It's just time to take all these ideas and keep moving forward. Keep encouraging our kids and everything we learn. We need to teach our kids in every aspect. Absolutely. Have some conversation though and how to get them home safely. So, I commend everybody on the panel today. Great show. Make sure you guys go ahead if you want to put anything up for your businesses up on the website. I got a website where we promote you for free. You just got to register, and it's called allblackeverythinglist.com. Allblackeverythinglist.com. That's the website. So if you want to promote your brand, go ahead and go to the website, drop it off, and y'all have a great day. Thanks for the conversation.
Absolutely. Donald Toussaint. 30 seconds to a minute, sir. Donald, you there?
Hey.
There you go.
Yes, sir. I'm here. Okay, man. I'm multitasking. I'm talking to 5 people at the same time.
There you go. You the man for the job, brother. You the man for the job.
Look here. I don't know about all of that, but look, I say this, and all that we're saying. Do the best you can. We're in a survival mode. Everybody's in a survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be scared. Don't be scared. Watch yourself. Watch as well as play.
Mm-hmm.
But I refuse to live in fear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm not gonna look at the ground. I'm gonna look you in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not gonna turn my hand. Watch people. I have this person just say, when he shakes people's hands, he try to turn his hand over your hand in a handshake to show his superiority. His superiority. Man, thank you, man. But I don't run like that.
Yeah.
You're not superior to me. The only thing that we have dominion over everything but each other. You don't have dominion over me.
Mm-hmm.
So first, I'm a man. Then I look in the mirror and then I notice that I'm a black man. You're gonna treat me like I want you to treat me like that. Now, when I have confrontations, I have to be careful of how I handle myself.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's go to Xavier. Xavier, 30 seconds to a minute.
I won't even need it, my friend. I really appreciate everybody today. Appreciate the comments.
Yes, sir.
The passion behind the fight that we're fighting, and I get it. So I love you guys. Really
love you as
appreciate
well,
all the feedback, the comments, and we're gonna keep fighting this fight.
There you go. There you go. Curtis, 30 minutes to 30. You keep saying 30 minutes. 30 seconds to a minute.
Oh man, I love you, Zay. You know you my man, baby. Everybody on this panel, man, y'all just said some things that were so powerful. Lisa, when you get a chance, you know, a lot of that defiance from those attorney general started with a young girl by the name of Marilyn Mosby. She was the attorney general, or she still is the attorney general of Maryland, during the Freddie Gray incident. And she told them, you know, look, I'm not accepting everything y'all been doing been fraudulent. So, you know, big ups to those ladies and those attorney generals that's really taking the torch and saying, nah, this ain't right. But all I'm gonna say, man, is we just gotta keep praying, keep holding on, and keep doing what we trying to do, man. We trying to do right, man. I'm not gonna take that from our population. We trying to do right, but you know, understand that they keep moving the goalposts. So, you know, changing the rules in the midst of the game, not before the game, not after the game, but while you playing.
30 seconds to a minute.
Every single play
30
seems
seconds
like
to
the
a
rules
minute.
done changed. So y'all be good. Hold it down. I've just hit my minute right there. All right. So y'all be good. I love y'all, man.
11 o'clock today,
Now, I
Curtis.
was counting.
11 o'clock today, Curtis.
I was counting. I don't know what's going on at 11 o'clock today, Raheem.
Talk to me.
Why don't you use your radio voice? 11 o'clock today. At 11 o'clock today, there's a around the table meeting that I would love for you all to attend. At 11 o'clock today, please attend the Around the Table talk with myself, Curtis McNeil. The topic at hand, Raheem, do you mind?
I don't mind at all, sir. The topic at hand is this. Is masturbation the same as abortion? Is masturbation the same as abortion? 11 o'clock today. You want to be a part of this.
11 o'clock.
Yes. Yes, it is. Now, we're about to get out of here for today. Now, what's going on? Let me go to Toya. What's going on at 3 o'clock today? Toya with the T. Oh, let me see. Yeah, we lost Toya. We lost Toya. Donald Toussaint, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir? Put him on the spot. Donald Toussaint.
Hey, if I can get this phone to work right, man.
Okay.
At 3 o'clock, you can watch this. I'm gonna get it wrong.
Go ahead, man.
Go to DKM Media Group and Associates.
Yes, sir.
And watch this broadcast in its entirety.
There you go. In its entirety. Boy, you got it right. Listen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now look. Yes, sir. You did it, man. You did that. You did that. You did it like a champ. Listen, it's 10:09. We're about to get out of here for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. But more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates to be a part of your morning. Been a great broadcast. Now, it is 10:09, but you're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. You all have a great weekend, and God said the same. We'll see you right here Monday morning. But don't forget, 11 to 12 today. Around the table with Curtis McNeil. The topic is masturbation the same as abortion? Y'all have a great day and love somebody. You might just get some love in return.